In 1980, the Saints were called the Aints by their embarrassed fans, but that's not the case any longer. New Orleans jumped out to a fast start, winning 3 of their first 4 games, and their thoughts suddenly turned to the playoffs as a young New Orleans team, led by the aging and veteran quarterback Ken Stabler, plucked off the NFL scrap heap by the Saints coach Bum Phillips. Ken Stabler, sacked against the Dallas Cowboys, went down and missed last week's loss to the Washington Redskins. Stabler questionable for today. As far as the fickle Falcons are concerned, this season a microcosm of years gone by. Up one year and down the next. In the playoffs one season, out the next. They split their first 4 games, then won 3 in a row, broke down and let down last week against Green Bay. When Atlanta's on their game, they look like Super Bowl contenders. The passing of Steve Bartkowski, the receiving of Alfred Jenkins and Alfred Jackson, and the running of William Andrews. The Falcons have clinched their 3rd playoff spot in 5 years. The Saints hoping to keep their slim playoff hopes alive.
CBS Sports presents the National Football League. Today, the Atlanta Falcons against the New Orleans Saints.
Live from the Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana, the 5-3 Falcons, the 3-5 Saints. Around the NFL today, these crucial scores. The Redskins on top over the Cardinals, trying for home field advantage. The Eagles and the Giants with about half a quarter left to go at Veterans Stadium. Tampa Bay on the verge of being eliminated by the Chicago Bears. Chicago with some slim playoff hopes as well. So if those scores were to hold up, here's the way the standings would look after week number 9. The Redskins solidifying home field advantage as far as they could go. The Cowboys tomorrow night against the Minnesota Vikings. Atlanta with a chance for home field. And as far as the Rams are concerned, they're just waiting to wait for the axe to fall on the front office and head coach Ray Malavasi. Hello again, everybody. I'm Jim Kelly. John Dockery, former New York Jet, alongside. Whenever the Falcons and the Saints get together, it's a big rivalry encompassing 2 of the great southern cities in the United States. But these 2 teams don't like each other very much. Great intensity, bodies and helmets usually fly around. As far as the Falcons are concerned, John, will the real Atlanta team probably stand up today?
They are definitely a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde personality, so much so that Lehman Bennett can't figure out which one will show up on a given Sunday. Last week they were gobbled up by Green Bay. Before that, one of the hot teams in the NFL. They had won 3 in a row. I think they'll rebound today for the playoffs.
With the importance of the playoffs. And of course, as far as the New Orleans Saints are concerned, Bum Phillips in his 2nd year rebuilding around youth and enthusiasm, around George Rogers, but around an aging and veteran gunslinger.
Exactly. Bum Phillips calls it building the foundation to his new house. George Rogers will not start today. He has a hamstring pull. We don't know how much he'll play. Kenny Stabler, 37 years old, 13 years in the league. His eyes sparkle when he talks about his new team, the Saints, and what many people don't know about Kenny, he hopes to be around next year and in the future. He looks like he's just about ready. Let's go get him, Jim.
Saints have won the toss. They've elected to receive. That's number 89, Andre Thompson, 84, Rich Maudie, and the Saints break it out. Andre Thompson gets it near the 17-yard line. 1st and 10. You can see the intensity and the hitting already on the opening tackle. Robert Jackson, 62, in there on the hit defensively for the Atlanta Falcons. You take a look. Kenny Stabler will work, not with George Rogers today. He's injured. We'll talk about that. The backfield and the wide receivers of the New Orleans Saints. And the offensive line, well, they're a very young group. Larry Hardy, tight end. And, of course, we'll keep our eye on number 63, Brad Edelman. He is termed perhaps one of the best offensive guard prospects to come along in recent years. There's the veteran, Ken Stabler, 37 years young, and with a gleam in his eye, he's rejuvenated about football and about this New Orleans Saints football team. 1st and 10 for the Saints opening drive. Up near the 25-yard line and close to first down yardage, Lindsey Scott, the wide receiver, the rookie out of Georgia, 1st-round draft pick in 1982. The defense of the Atlanta Falcons pulverized a week ago by the Green Bay Packers. Don Smith at a good nose tackle, lots of sacks. There are the linebackers, a mobile core, Joel Williams, not yet back from the injury to 100%. And the secondary, Kenny Johnson, victimized twice last week by number 80, James Lofton. 2nd down, 3 yards to go for the Saints at their 26-yard line. Wide receivers left and right, the backs are split. Stabler to put it up on his 2nd. 1st down for the Saints. Andre Thompson in his 6th year out of East Texas, and you can see very quickly that the Saints are surprising Atlanta. They told us yesterday at practice they would be throwing the ball about 50% of the time.
But Kenny Stabler told us that he hoped to be throwing the ball a lot because when you don't have a George Rogers, you have to put the ball up. There was a twinkle in his eye when he talked about putting it in the air like the old days, 40 or 50 times.
The man that he beat was Kenny Johnson. We talked about Kenny being victimized last week on 2 occasions by James Lofton for touchdowns in that Packer romp against the Atlanta Falcons. First down for New Orleans. Draw play straight ahead. And you can see the swarming Atlanta Falcons defense. Lehman Bennett says of his defense that there are 10 Falcons on the ball at all time. The 11th man that is not hitting with quite the same intensity as before the injury, Joel Williams.
Of course, remember back in 1980 when Joel Williams had 16 sacks. He was an all-world linebacker, much in the mold of a Lawrence Taylor. Hasn't come all the way back yet. I think it's more of a mental thing than a physical thing, Jim.
Second down, approaching midfield. Wide receivers, Jeff Groth to the left side, Lindsey Scott to the right side. In the slot, Andre Thompson, number 89. Stabler on second down will throw for the first down. He's got it. Jeff Groth, in his 4th year out of Bowling Green, a free agent, came in with 26 catches and 1 touchdown, 320 yards. First down for the New Orleans Saints.
And Kenny Stabler is doing exactly what he told us. He said we might see 3 wide receivers. We'll put the ball up. What else can we do against a solid defense like Atlanta and no George Rogers?
Kenny Stabler came in, 93 completions, 154 attempts for over 1,072 yards, 5 touchdowns, 8 interceptions.
And look at that completion percentage, over 60%. That's his trademark. He's always been a high percentage completion passer.
Good block over the right side. Guy John, 10th round draft pick in 1981 out of LSU. Tom Pridemore came in, a pickup of 8 yards. So you see the big hole over on the right side. Lewis Aubrey, the right guard, Stan Brock, the right tackle. They're young, just 1 and 3 years respectively.
Oh my goodness, my Jets losing to Kansas City 37-13. I thought they were on a roll after winning last week so big.
Kansas City playing with a lot of emotion today, though. Of course, Jack Rudney in his final game after a great career with the Kansas City Chiefs. Wide receivers left and right. Stabler looks at second and short yardage. We'll put it up again. Batted down and preventing a touchdown. Number 23, Bobby Butler, the 2nd-year defensive back out of Florida State, a first-round draft pick in 1981.
Bobby Butler has that great speed. Watch him backing off here now. He's playing man-on-man on Lindsey Scott. He does have some help underneath. See him backpedaling, trying to bottom of the screen, trying to keep that cushion. Scott makes his move. Butler breaks with him. Gets in front, almost comes up with an interception. Excellent defensive play.
Lindsey Scott, number 80, one of the wide receivers. 86 is Jeff Groth. 89, Andre Thompson. Those are the 3 wideouts. Now 89 has checked out along with Jeff Groth. They're going with a double tight end alignment on 3rd and less than 2 yards. Wayne Wilson stacked up shy of first down yardage near the 25. Tom Pridemore in his 5th year out of West Virginia, the man that made the tackle secure. So that lost a yard. It'll bring up 4th and 3.
A little bit surprised at the call. I expected something from the Riverboat Gambler there. Calls most of the plays, Kenny does. About 75% of them. There on 3rd and 3. Tried Wilson around the right side, didn't work. So the field goal is up.
So we will see Morton Anderson, who has made 2 of 4 field goals. He made a field goal from 45 and 36 yards, missed from 60 and 43. This will be a 42-yard attempt for the southpaw. It is up, and it is just shy and a little bit wide. So he misses from 42 yards, and the Saints, after taking the opening possession and moving down into field goal range, came away empty.
It looked like he just hit that ball, and it's interesting as New Orleans doesn't capitalize early. Lehman Bennett telling us that he hoped his Atlanta Falcons could get up early so they could use their ball control offense and then possibly have a runaway. New Orleans trying to prevent that, but they missed a golden opportunity right here.
The offensive lineup for the Atlanta Falcons: Steve Bartkowski works with William Andrews, the NFL's all-purpose rushing and pass-catching leader, and of course the veteran offensive line of the Atlanta Falcons. No score, 11:25 left to go. First quarter, the Falcons and the Saints. William Andrews chopped down behind the line of scrimmage. Bruce Clark, the rookie out of Penn State, obtained by the New Orleans Saints in a trade with the Green Bay Packers, the man that made the tackle. And talking about Penn State, well, hats off to Joe Paterno after last night's game right here in the Superdome.
Bruce Clark, of course, the #1 draft choice from Green Bay a few years back, spent some time in Canada. Dennis Winston, remember him at Pittsburgh? He's their defensive MVP. A solid secondary, though. Poe was victimized twice against Washington last week.
Slot formation to the right side. Jackson is out. Jenkins is in. Bartkowski looks now at 2nd down and 10. And the handoff to Lynn Kane. picks up maybe 2 yards, brings up 3rd and 8. Lynn Kane in his 4th year out of USC, tackled by the left inside linebacker Jim Kovach and the left cornerback Dave Waymer. You know, in talking with Lehman Bennett last night at the hotel, he was referring back to the Packers game. He said, we simply have to have better concentration and better execution than we had against Green Bay, and we can't have any more mental mistakes. Last week they had an awful lot of penalties which hurt them in that game against the Green Bay Packers. The book on Steve Bartkowski. William Andrews, power sweep to the left side. First down, Falcons and more. Broke the tackle at the 35, barreled up across the 40-yard line before he was finally chopped down by number 73, Frank Warren.
And if you saw that play, Mike Ken, number 78, Mike Ken was pulling out and led that play, and that's one of the reasons why Mike Ken, number 78, was in the Pro Bowl. Also, one of the reasons William Andrews, as you look at Washington shutting out St. Louis 28-0.
We'd like to welcome the Redskins and Cardinals fans that were watching that game. So the Redskins have secured the home field advantage for as far as they go. The St. Louis loss means that the Falcons now, John, have a chance for home field advantage. So the game takes on added importance for the Falcons very early. Bartkowski to throw on first down. Up near the midfield stripe, about 5 yards shy of first down yardage. Bartkowski was decked on the play by number 75. Bruce Clark was in there, but no flag on the play. And it's Junior Miller on the reception, the big tight end.
If the Falcons are to win today and move the ball, Junior Miller has to be part of the offense. Last week, not one reception. There he comes up with a catch. Now it's 2nd and 5.
Junior Miller, the 5th favorite receiver of Steve Bartkowski, came in with 16 catches, 182 yards, averaging about 12 yards a catch. His longest for 39 yards and 1 touchdown. Backs are Lynn Kane and William Andrews. Bartkowski sets the Falcons down. Jenkins and Jackson, the wide receivers. Jackson in motion to the bottom of your screen. William Andrews inside New Orleans Saints territory at the 49 before he's chopped on down. Jim Kovach in there on the hit. Doesn't he remind you, especially in the red jerseys of the Georgia Bulldogs, of watching Herschel Walker a little bit last night?
Herschel Walker, another great back, of course. Look at the series. Atlanta leads this series 20-7, has won 9 of the last 10 meetings. And you know, Jim, we talked about the rivalry. There is some bad blood here. And all the people on New Orleans said, we want to break that stereotype that we can't beat the Falcons. And this is amazing. Look at that. The Falcons have outscored the Saints 103 points to 10 in the last 3 meetings.
3rd down, less than 2 yards to go. Double tight end alignment. Close to first down yardage as they went with Junior Miller and Keith Prefley at the tight end position. Goes William Andrews over the middle behind R.C. Seelman, the 6-year veteran out of Arkansas.
Jim, as we wait for the measurement, that graphic, that outscoring of 103 to 10, disproves the axiom. A lot of people believe it's almost impossible to beat a team twice in the same season in the NFL. I happen not to believe that is the case.
4th down and less than the length of the football, and the Falcons apparently will punt it away. George Roberts back to do the punting, a 38.5-yard punting average. And number 86 as you look at him, Jeff Groth, back deep for the New Orleans Saints. Roberts, his longest punt, 54 yards. Will kick it away from about the 40-yard line of the Falcons. Will angle it for the near side. And an excellent kick by George Roberts. He nailed it inside the 5, right at the 5-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the New Orleans Saints. We're scoreless in the first quarter. The Atlanta Falcons and the New Orleans Saints, 7:28 to go, 0-0.
We are USA 1. Taking charge with a Chevrolet so versatile, it's part moving van, part school bus, part camper, and part sporty car. The front-wheel drive Chevy Citation, outselling every other front-wheel drive over the past 3 years combined. Now, get 11.9% financing at participating Chevrolet dealers.
You know, there's nothing like getting together for a nice, friendly game of cards. That's right. Jim brings the cards.
Uh-oh.
Mickey brings the doll.
Thanks, doll.
And I bring the beer. Light beer from Miller. Light tastes great. It's got a 1/3 less calories than the regular beer. and it's less filling. And you don't want to get filled up when you're dealing with these guys who... Okay, Numa, cut the cards. Oh, no.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Jim Kelly, John Dockery back with you here at the Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana. We've got a scoreless first quarter, 7:28 left to go in the first quarter. Saints' second possession will start 1st and 10 at their own 5-yard line. Kenny Stabler, 3 out of 4 in the passing department for 45 yards. Morton Anderson missed a field goal try from 42 yards out. George Rogers not in the backfield. Wide receivers left and right now for the New Orleans Saints. Jeff Groth and Lindsey Scott in the backfield. Hokie Guyjon, number 46, along with Jimmy Rogers. Stabler goes up top. Incomplete at the 45-yard line. Looking for Lindsey Scott. Bobby Butler back there in the coverage.
Bobby Butler got good position, wouldn't let Scott run through him, around him. Ball was just overthrown by Stabler.
37 years old. Bum Phillips has a lot of confidence in Kenny. Said he's provided a great deal of leadership to this young team. And in fact, you know, John, when we're talking about the leadership, Ken Stabler was unanimously elected captain of the New Orleans Saints. So unanimously, he got 2 more votes than they have players on the team.
I wonder if Bum stuffed the ballot box.
Lindsey Scott, Jeff Groth in there at the wide receivers again. The handoff to Guyjon up across the 10 near the 11-yard line. Buddy Curry, number 50, in there in the tackle defensively for the Falcons.
And Jim, we're going to be talking about number 63, Brad Edelman, a lot today. He's the rookie out of Missouri in red, 63. He was the man who was second in the voting for MVP. Now, an offensive guard, a rookie, that gives you an idea. Look at this score. Chicago, Tampa Bay, 23-23. Of course, Tampa Bay needs a win. 30 seconds left in that game. They need a win or a tie to get into playoffs today.
Andre Thompson is in, along with Jeff Groth. Stabler will look for short yardage and close to first down yardage. Looping out of the backfield, Wayne Wilson, a 4th-year back out of Shepherd. Kuykendall in there on the hit, and it's a first down for the Saints.
You know, excuse me, Jim, go ahead.
Let's go back to that score, the Bears and Tampa Bay. Chicago was up big in that game. Tampa Bay coming back again. Of course, they've had some dramatic finishes in recent weeks. 23-all, the Bears and the Buccaneers. Chicago in the playoffs only if Green Bay would beat Detroit. That game is just starting. Or if Los Angeles were to beat San Francisco. Tampa Bay, if they win the game, they are in. They lose, they can still get in, but it takes more possibilities. Stabler, red hot, near the 22-yard line.
Jim, talking about that game, if that game stays the way it is in a tie, Tampa Bay will make the playoffs.
Well, of course, they'll play sudden death for 15 minutes.
That's right. So we have another 15 minutes. It's interesting, Tampa Bay, the last 2 weeks, they've won 2 games by a grand total of 3 points. They're an incredible comeback team this year in the NFL.
The book on Ken Stabler so far this afternoon. It's 2nd down and 5 yards to go. Andre Thompson to the left side. Jeff Groth to the right side. Lindsey Scott in the slot.
3:27.
Wilson gets the call around the left side. Big hole there as Brad Edelman, number 63, and John Hill, the center, helped open it up. Al Richardson came over on the hit. Edelman, the rookie out of Missouri, he's 6'6", 255. That's a program weight. We saw him in the locker room the other day after practice, and he's got to tilt the scales at about 265. And we talked with some of the Atlanta Falcons defensive players and coaches, and they say, well, Jerry Granville said he may be the best left guard to ever play professional football. That's some compliment for a rookie.
It's amazing. We'll pick up on that in a moment.
1st and 10 at the 30-yard line. And another first down. Lindsey Scott, the rookie out of Georgia. Al Richardson batted him out of bounds.
Excellent concentration. You think Kenny isn't happy. He nods approval right there as Lindsey Scott shows excellent concentration. There was a defender jumping in front of him. The ball is off his hands, but he keeps his eyes on it and steps out of bounds for the completion. Take a look at another angle. Watch this. Makes the cut, breaks sharply. Good coverage, but still a defensive back gambles. That's Bobby Butler. He tips it, Scott. Completion, first down.
Kenny Duckett, 83, is in along with Lindsey Scott. Andre Thompson in the slot to the left side. Wilson and Guyjon are the running backs. Stabler having a field day, picking the Falcons apart right now. Wayne Wilson looping out of the backfield, picks up 3. It'll bring up 2nd down and 7. Joe L. Williams, the 4th-year right outside linebacker out of Wisconsin La Crosse.
You talk about a lot of people who were writing Ken Stabler's obituary. He was cut by Houston. No one picked him up. Finally, his buddy Bum Phillips said, look, we'll give you another opportunity to recycle yourself. He's here. He's excited. He's reborn. And he wants to come back, Jim. I was surprised to hear him say that he might even stay here in the offseason and work out. That's unheard of for Kenny Stabler.
A low ball passer and a high ball drinker. Wayne Wilson again. First down again. Take another look. The veteran, 37 years old, the southpaw, Kenny Stabler. He has done it all. He provides on-field and off-field leadership, and he is having a field day right now. They told us they would come out with 3 wide receivers. George Rogers is out injured. They have virtually no running game, and Stabler mixing up the medium to short passing range. Some question, even as we watch the practice, how deep can Ken Stabler still throw the football?
Well, Jim, to realize how much Kenny Stabler wants this game, he's playing with a sore arm.
Stabler now 8 out of 10, 82 yards. Wayne Wilson again. Inside the 35, belted out of bounds. Pickup of 11.
Excuse me, Wayne Wilson, a man that Archie Manning used to love to throw to, called him a great receiver out of the backfield. Good hands, good ability to get open. Here makes a nice move after he catches the ball to get some extra yardage.
Wayne Wilson came into this game with 14 catches, 86 yards, averaging about 6 yards per catch, his longest for 34, and 2 touchdowns. He's already caught 3 or 4 so far this afternoon. Line of scrimmage, the 34-yard line. First and 10 for the New Orleans Saints. Slot formation to the left side. Stabler now is hit on 6 in a row. Holmes and Wilson are the running backs. Make it 7 in a row. Make it very close to first down yardage. Kenny Duckett, number 83, the rookie out of Wake Forest, a 3rd-round draft pick in '82, had 8 catches coming in, 1 for a touchdown.
Make it a fun day for Kenny Stabler. Both teams want a ball control, but they're going to do it differently. Atlanta wants to run the ball with William Andrews. Kenny Stabler wants to throw those short, high-percentage completions, which he's been doing.
Hokie Guyjon, 46. Number 46 is in there. 1 running back spot. Jack Holmes, number 45. Jeff Groth out wide to the left side, along with Kenny Duckett in the slot formation. 2nd and a short 2. Wide open and dropped at the 3-yard line. The 4-year wide receiver out of Bowling Green, and he'll have a chat with Ken Stabler when he comes back into the huddle.
Oh, that's Jeff Groth out of the slot. He's wide open. Watch him coming at the bottom of your screen. Comes across the middle. Atlanta's in his zone. He's wide open. Stabler had a lot of time to throw the ball. Oh, he just didn't concentrate and drop the ball. What a heartbreak for him.
And you can see Kenny Johnson coming in and making the hit. That's one thing the Falcons defense is known for. They make you pay whether you catch the ball or not. 3rd down, a short 2, double tight end alignment in there right now. Larry Hardy along with Rich Maudie. Maudie in motion. Close to first down yardage when they unpile. Kenny Johnson in there on the hit on Hokie Guyjon.
You hear the fans, Jim, they want him to go. They came down the first time. They missed a field goal opportunity. You hear the fans exhorting them on. Let's see what Bum does.
He'll go for it on 4th down. He's just sent the play in with Jack Holmes. They've already missed a 42-yard field goal. The Saints, of course, still have a very slim chance of making the playoffs, but the first order of business to beat the Atlanta Falcons. Scoreboard watching doesn't mean a thing if they don't win this football game. First down, New Orleans Saints. Jack Holmes brought the play in, carried it himself, and the free agent out of Texas Southern banged it on home. Tom Pridemore made the tackle for the Falcons.
And you get the idea that that young offensive line from New Orleans has come to play. Edelman, Hill in the middle, the veteran, holds it all together.
John Hill, talk about him being a veteran, 11 years out of Lehigh, a free agent. Andre Thompson is back in, number 89, works the left side. Lindsey Scott is over on the right side. Approaching the 10-yard line, Kenny Johnson came over and made the hit. Andre Thompson out of East Texas State.
Watch the top of your screen. Andre Thompson just delays. He wants the other receiver to clear out growth and come across. It's read well by Kenny Johnson. He fumbles the ball, but still holds on to get a few yards. Now it's 2nd and inches, Jim.
2nd and less than a yard to go. Good passing down, but of course Stabler's been enjoying a good passing day. Out wide to the left side. Lindsey Scott, number 80, in the slot is Andre Thompson. Jeff Groth is out to the bottom of your screen. Guy John barrels inside the 10. The blocking of Brad Edelman on the left side, along with John Hill. A very sustained drive by the New Orleans Saints. They're using up a lot of time inside of 30 seconds now in this first quarter. Falcons have only had the ball very briefly for one possession, punted it away. Other than that, it's been all the New Orleans Saints.
The New Orleans Saints haven't exactly been a scoring machine. They've scored only 94 points in 8 games. That's the lowest in the NFL. And down here, a player like George Rogers will help you to take it in, much in the way that Herschel Walker would do it for the University of Georgia, the big back. I'd look for Kenny to put the ball up.
The 15th play of this New Orleans Saints drive is coming up as you see the time winding down in a scoreless first quarter. The Atlanta Falcons, hoping for home field advantage as far as the playoffs are concerned, know by now that the Washington Redskins have defeated the St. Louis Cardinals by a score of 28-0. So the Redskins have secured home field for as far as they can go. What the St. Louis loss means is, of course, that the Atlanta Falcons now can move into the top 4 of the top 18, which will qualify for the playoffs in the NFC. So the game taking on added importance very quickly for the Atlanta Falcons. 0-0, second quarter coming up.
We are USA 1, taking charge with tough, easy-to-own transportation like Chevy Chevette. While Ford's base Escort suggested retail price went up, the lowest price Chevy Chevette held the line. In fact, this 2-door Chevette is priced over $600 less than Escort L 2-door. And Chevette has millions more owner-driven miles behind it. Chevy Chevette, from America's sales leader. Now, get 11.9% financing at participating Chevrolet dealers.
Some people can afford to make mistakes. You can't. So you became the best you could be, a professional. And now, no matter what your profession, there's a personal computer made just for you. Introducing the Professional, the new personal computer for professionals from Digital, with professional graphics of incredible clarity and accuracy. Professional communications that let you talk to other computers in your office or out. And since you have to do more than one job at a time, so can the Professional. And it's all easy to learn and simple to use. Not even the biggest computer company in the world gives you so much, but the second biggest does. The Professional. The personal computer has just lost its amateur standing. Digital Equipment Corporation. Computers for professionals, from professionals.
They're into overtime at Tampa Bay, the Bucs and the Bears. If Tampa Bay wins, they're in the playoffs. If Chicago loses, they're out. If Chicago wins, they can still get into the playoffs if Green Bay would beat Detroit. What's going on there? The Lions are on top. They can get into the playoffs if Tampa Bay loses. If the Lions lose, they're out. 1st and 10 for the New Orleans Saints, 15th play of the drive. Stabler, as he's done, to the air. Incomplete in the end zone. Lindsey Scott, the rookie out of Georgia, Bobby Butler with fine coverage.
What a nice play by Bobby Butler. Hard to time this. If you're there too early, it's called pass interference. If you're there too late and lay off, it's a touchdown. Bobby Butler gets his hands around the receiver, rips his arms away. That's the difference. See him get his arms around that receiver and pull the ball away from Lindsey Scott.
Kenny Stabler is 11 out of 15 in the passing department for 110 yards. 49ers on top over the LA Rams, or are they the Los Angeles Lambs? It'll be pass interference against the Falcons. It was intended for Lynn, the rookie out of Georgia. Bobby Butler not at all pleased with the call, saying, what can you do?
They're always picking on those defensive backs. Actually, Butler impeded his progress to the ball. That's the call, I believe, pass interference. We'll listen.
Interference, number 23, defense, first down on the 1-yard line.
Watch Bobby Butler here. They're playing close bump and run. He's trying to ride the receiver. We'll catch it on the right-hand side of your screen. See that right arm? He's leaning. Hard to see in that shot, but before that, he was leaning on the receiver.
The New Orleans Saints have 9 first downs. The Falcons just 1. The Saints 110 yards passing. The Falcons just 5. Maudie in motion. Wayne Wilson. Touchdown, New Orleans.
This is just a power play by the offensive line, and Wayne Wilson running strong. Good body lean, takes it in, bounces off some people. And he's in for his first rushing touchdown of the year, and it's a long way from 1980 when they were the Aints, isn't it, Jim?
What a job Wayne Wilson has done, the free agent out of Shepherd, both on the pass receiving end on this drive and as far as rushing the football. Of course, George Rogers is out. Guido Merkins will hold, and it's perfect. So the New Orleans Saints go 94 yards in 17 plays. They use up 7:43 on the clock, and they punch it in first as Wayne Wilson goes in. The Saints, who have lost 9 of the last 10 to the Atlanta Falcons, on the board. They lead Atlanta 7-0.
Baseball star Jim Palmer.
I hate dandruff.
Can Tegrin control Jim Palmer's dandruff for 3 days without shampooing?
3 days?
Tegrin test, day 1.
Beautiful, so far.
Day 2.
Tegrin's still working. Good thing it's almost airtime.
Day 3.
Tegrin controlled my dandruff 3 days.
Jim Palmer, looking good.
Try Tegrin. It passed the 3-day test.
Tegrin works day after day after day.
Why do 100,000-mile flyers choose United?
When I put in the miles, it pays off down the road, especially with United's Mileage Plus program. The more I fly, the bigger my rewards. All the way up to a free round trip anywhere United flies, even Hawaii. And since United serves more of the top 100 business centers, miles build fast. If your business keeps you running, Mileage Plus is a great way to get ahead.
People who fly for a living fly United's friendly skies.
There's the scoring drive, and what a drive it was, with a veteran, Kenny Stabler, mixing up the short and medium passes, Wayne Wilson punching it in. Morton Anderson to Reggie Brown. 1 yard deep. And the swarming Saints defense chops him down at the 15-yard line, where Bartkowski and company will bring them out 1st and 10. Now, the Falcons had picked up just 1 first down. Then they punted the ball away. The Saints took it right down. A 17-yard kickoff return. Bartkowski and the Falcons when we come right back.
My American friends introduced me to my favorite beer, light beer from Miller. Now I'm introducing them to my favorite food. With nachos, the best thing about light is it tastes great.
Not bad.
With enchiladas, the best thing is it's got 1/3 less calories than the regular beer. With burritos, the best thing is it's less filling.
Carlos, what's this?
And with jalapeno peppers, the best thing about light is it's cold.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
We are USA 1, and number 1 is taking charge of front-wheel drive with Chevrolet Celebrity, Citation, and Cavalier. With rear wheels removed and snowplows attached, these 3 different-size front-wheel drive Chevrolets are demonstrating traction enough to plow snow. Traction that helped make Chevy number 1 in front-wheel drive sales. USA 1. Now, get 11.9% financing at participating Chevrolet dealers.
There you can see the effective Kenny Stabler and ball control offense for the New Orleans Saints. They have struck quickly. They lead it by a score of 7-0. Alfred Jenkins out wide to the left side. Alfred Jackson to the right side for the Falcons. Running backs are Lynn Kane and William Andrews. Bartkowski gets it to Riggs, and a first down for the Falcons approaching the 30-yard line.
It's interesting, Jim, right before we talked to Lehman Bennett yesterday in his hotel room, and he said in his pregame talk to the Falcons that he would stressed three things: that they have to get physical on offense, which they haven't done yet. They have to score first. They haven't done that either. And defensively, they'd have to hit with intensity. They haven't done that either.
Jackson to the left, Jenkins to the right. Gerald Riggs gets the call again, tries to go outside, and nothing doing. Sandwich down behind the line of scrimmage. It'll bring up 2nd down and 11. The Bucks and the Bears tied at 23 in overtime, but Tampa Bay has it at the Chicago 10-yard line.
Tampa Bay with a win or a tie, they go to the playoffs.
The ball just shy of the 30-yard line. We've got 13:35 left to go in this first half. 7-0, Saints on top. Gerald Riggs flanked out wide to the left side. Jackson and Jenkins wide to the right in a slot formation. Bartkowski looking at 2nd down at 11. Alfred Jenkins turned it right around on number 44, the 3rd-year defensive back out of Notre Dame, Dave Waymer, and it's a first down for the Falcons, their second, as they pick up 14 yards.
In fairness, if you watch this at the bottom of your screen, you'll see Dave Waymer, number 44, covering Alfred Jenkins. Bottom right-hand side of your screen, he slips. That's why he's there so late. Jenkins makes the catch. Nice throw by Bartkowski, laid it right on target. And of course, Alfred Jenkins, now that streak to 98 games. That's the longest current streak in the NFL for an active receiver.
Jackson at the bottom of your screen, Jenkins at the top, and some motion in the middle of the line. Jeff Van Oat, the veteran center. A 33-yard field goal by Bill Capice for Tampa Bay. And Tampa Bay beats the Chicago Bears by 3 points. So Chicago, by losing, they are out as far as the playoffs are concerned. Tampa Bay is in. They up their record to 5-4.
Encroachment, number 74, defense, still first down.
The book on Steve Bartkowski. 1st and 5 after the penalty against the New Orleans Saints. William Andrews, and another penalty flag is down. Andrews chopped down near the 50 by Rob Nairn, the 6-year linebacker out of Oregon State.
You know, Jim, penalties have been a problem all along for the Atlanta Falcons. They are the 2nd most penalized team in the NFL, as we see the call here. 71 penalties for 594 yards. Only the Los Angeles Raiders are more penalized. Last week they had 16 against Green Bay for something like 158 yards. You can't win when you're doing that.
Dick Jorgensen, the referee, another flag against the New Orleans Saints. Penalties, of course, hurting the Falcons over that stretch when they had some problems in the middle of the year.
Encroachment, number 55, defense, lined up in a neutral zone, first down.
You can see what New England is doing to Buffalo. Buffalo that's a final score. So New England in the playoffs. And Buffalo, of course, is out with that loss. Stacey Bailey, 82, wide to the left side. Alfred Jackson at the bottom of your screen. 1st and 10 Falcons. Bouncing off a host of Saints and still on his feet and fighting inside the 40-yard line. The rookie out of Arizona State, Gerald Riggs. Frank Watlett, 90 on the hit.
Gerald Riggs is one of a halfback playing fullback. Great speed, great size, 6'1", 230. Here he looks like a runaway Brahma bull. Bounces off a number of people. Look at that. Being 2 people hit him right there. Bounces off, keeps running, and then he puts a little shot on Watlett right there. Still doesn't go down, standing as he goes out of bounds.
You know, that New England score, a bit of a surprise, because as many as 30 New England Patriots allegedly have said they want out. 2nd down, short yardage situation. Riggs in the backfield along with William Andrews. Andrews gets the call, and he bulls his way close to the 35-yard line. Should have enough for the first down. Whitney Paul, 7-year linebacker out of Colorado, in there in the tackle for New Orleans.
And you get a sense of nice balance with Steve Bartkowski in the Atlanta offense, not being interrupted by penalties, a problem all year long, as I suggested. Here, another first down, running the ball, completing passes to his backside of the backfield. A nice throw to Alfred Jenkins along the sidelines. Bartkowski in control right now.
We'd like to welcome those of you who watched that dramatic win for Tampa Bay on Bill Capice's 33-yard field goal. Tampa Bay, of course, in the playoffs. Chicago is out. We are 7-0, a 1-yard touchdown run by Wayne Wilson. The Saints and the Falcons. And Atlanta on a drive incomplete at the 23-yard line. Alfred Jackson, the intended receiver. On that drive, as far as New Orleans is concerned, for those of you just joining us, a 94-yard drive. Kenny Stabler mixing up the short passes and the run very effectively. They went 94 yards in 17 plays, and they used almost 8 minutes on the clock. And the Saints lead it by a score of 7-0. New Orleans, as far as the playoff is concerned, must win this game, irregardless of the rest of the scores around the league. They said they won't really be watching the scoreboard. They've got to take care of their business here first. Floyd Hodge, 83, the first-year wide receiver out of Utah, free agent, moves into the slot in the left side along with Alfred Jackson. Alfred Jenkins to the bottom of your screen. Second down, 10 yards to go for the Atlanta Falcons, trailing 7-0. The big tight end, Junior Miller, approaching the 28-yard line, coughed up the football, but after the play was whistled dead. Whitney Paul in there on the hit. And, you know, in talking with Ricky Jackson, a couple of, well, we'll pick up on that in a second. Pittsburgh, they used the tackle-eligible play, and they scored early on the Cleveland Browns, and they thus put away Cleveland. Cincinnati on top over Houston. Ed Biles in trouble as far as the coaching situation goes as the Oilers. Talking to Ricky Jackson, linebacker for the New Orleans Saints, of Junior Miller, he said he might be the best tight end in pro football.
He says he always gives him trouble, Junior Miller. And of course, Ricky Jackson, number 57, in the white, an excellent linebacker, much like Hugh Green, who he played with.
Alfred Jackson to the top of your screen. Jenkins to the bottom. In the slot is Billy White Shoes Johnson. Third down, 4 yards to go, and William Andrews, power sweep to the left side, knifes his way close to the 25. And that should be enough if they give him forward progress for a first down. Dennis Winston in there defensively for New Orleans. The New York Giants upset the Philadelphia Eagles at Veterans Stadium, so the Giants sweep Philadelphia twice.
That's a turnaround. The Giants lost to Washington by a point a couple of weeks ago. Last week they lost in the final seconds, and this week they come back to win by 2.
That puts the New York Giants at 4-5. Keeping their playoff hopes alive. Philadelphia, with that loss, of course, they're out. So we've got Washington 28, St. Louis nothing, the Eagles 24, the Giants 26, and Tampa Bay wins in an overtime field goal by Bill Capice, 26-23. After the spot by referee Dick Jorgensen, just the length of the football shy of first down yardage. The Falcons will go for it on less than a foot. Gerald Riggs and William Andrews in the backfield. First down for the Falcons inside the 25 of New Orleans.
And Jim, you might go for it also. You know, the Pro Bowl picks just came out this week, and the Atlanta Falcons have 3 offensive linemen on it. Number 78, Mike Ken, who they just ran over that time. R.C. Thielman, the right guard, and Jeff Van Note, the 14-year center out of Kentucky, all Pro Bowlers. So you realize what kind of an offensive line the Atlanta Falcons have.
10 minutes, 55 seconds left to go in the second quarter. Atlanta at one time trailed in the first down department 9-1. You can see they're catching up on this drive. Jenkins to the left side, Jackson to the right side. Out of the backfield, William Andrews. Tackle secure by Jim Kovach.
And you get an idea of what an all-purpose back William Andrews is. Coming into the game, he had 40 catches for over 400 yards. He also had 515 rushing. That's over 1,000 yards. He leads the NFL in total yardage. Marcus Allen is second, Billy Sims third. But Andrews is just an all-purpose back. We've said it before. Maybe the best pure fullback in the game. He runs, he catches, he blocks.
The stats on William Andrews. Second down and 5. Put it down at the 17 of New Orleans. Wide receivers left and right from the power I. Riggs in the tail of the tandem gets the pick back and is chopped down. Ricky Jackson, second-year linebacker out of Pittsburgh, a teammate of Hugh Green on that great Panther team from a couple of years ago.
And it's funny, all of those, watch this missed block allows Ricky Jackson to come penetrating through. Andrews misses him, and that's Jackson in it. But it's interesting when we were talking to Jackson yesterday, you look in his locker, and there, pinned up on his locker is a picture of Lawrence Taylor. It seems every outside linebacker compares himself to Lawrence Taylor or Hugh Green these days.
Big third down play coming up offensively for the Falcons, defensively for the Saints. New Orleans on the board first, 7-0. 7:25 to go in the quarter. Slot formation to the left side. One running back is William Andrews. Bartkowski will have to throw for it. Motion on the line, no flags. So Bartkowski falls on the loose football, and the Falcons will have to try for a field goal. Looked like they just got messed up on the timing between the center and Bartkowski. Jeff Van Oat, the veteran center, a 14-year lineman out of Kentucky. Bartkowski pulled back a little prematurely, so Nick Luckhurst, 8 out of 12 in the field goal department, his longest from 51 yards, will try from the vicinity of the 30-yard line.
And that kind of a fumble, Jim, is something you wouldn't expect. These guys have been doing it together for over 8 years now. Jeff Van Noten and Steve Bartkowski, that is.
From the 30, tack on the 10 of the end zone, a 40-yard field goal try for Luckhurst. Snap, spot, kick is perfect. And the Falcons are on the board. After the Saints scored on their second possession, Atlanta comes back and does likewise. New Orleans 7, Atlanta 3. We'll be back in one moment.
Come on along, I'll take you to the lullaby of Broadway. The hip-hooray and ballyhoo.
The lullaby of Broadway.
And in the center of it all
is the Milford Plaza.
The Milford Plaza Hotel. Great food, beautiful rooms, irresistible prices tell you why we are the lullaby of Broadway.
The Milford Plaza is the lullaby of all Broadway.
Here's big news from GMAC about low financing. Participating GM dealers are now offering low 11.9% GMAC financing on all new 83 GM cars and light trucks. 11.9% financing, not on just a few selected models, but every new GM car and light truck. Offer good until March 31st. See your GM dealer for details.
If you really want it, we can help you get it with GMAC financing.
11.9%.
Tuesday, a world premiere movie. Kate Jackson and Tim Matheson work together, so they're determined not to play together. But rules were made to be broken on Listen to Your Heart.
There you see the Atlanta Falcons scoring drive. 13 plays, 62 yards, almost 6 minutes.
Andre Thompson and Rich Maudie are deep. Andre Thompson, and a flag on the kickoff return. Now another flag thrown. And that generally indicates clipping against the receiving team. Dick Jorgensen, the referee, will explain it. 8:38 left to go in the first half. 7-3, Saints on top over the Falcons. John, in talking with the coaches for New Orleans this week at practice, they seem to think, and we would certainly agree, it was important for this New Orleans Saints team to score first against the Falcons. They've been outscored, as we saw the graphic.
We have 2 fouls after change of possession. Illegal use of hands, number 63, offense. Personal foul, Sperry, number 25, defense. It'll be offensive ball at the spot of their foul. First down.
I'm glad he explained it.
The spot will be at the 18-yard line. So the New Orleans Saints, Kenny Stabler and company, as you look at the veteran, going over and talking with referee Dick Jorgensen, will operate 1st and 10. From their own 18, they lead by 4.
We are USA 1. And proving it in Chevy Cavalier with more power from a new high-compression 2-liter engine with electronic fuel injection. Cavalier has it. Accord doesn't. Corolla doesn't. Sentra doesn't. Cavalier has new lower prices for 83, plus a full line of models, including one the leading imports don't even offer. Chevy Cavalier, from America's sales leader, USA 1, is taking charge. Now get 11.9% financing at participating Chevrolet dealers.
Here's to good friends. Tonight is kind of special.
Congratulations, you coached a pretty mean game.
Well, I had a pretty good teacher.
Did I teach you the part about the winning coach buying the loan, Brown?
You got it.
Give me 10 minutes. I gotta go yell at my players.
When you want the taste of a truly great beer, tonight, let it be Lowenbrow.
So tell me, what'd you say to your teacher?
Told him we were out coached.
Let it be Lowenbrow.
The man with a vest on without the hat is Bum Phillips. He doesn't wear his hat indoors.
A.O. Bum Phillips. I wonder what the OA stands for.
In his second year here in New Orleans, has the Saints 3-5. There's the stats on Kenny Stabler so far this afternoon. Pitch back, Wayne Wilson. He's got the touchdown. Bowls his way up near the 20-yard line, close to the 21. Picks up 3. It'll bring up 2nd down and 7. Jim Laughlin in there on the tackle for the Atlanta Falcons. We're talking about the importance of the Saints scoring first. The Atlanta Falcons have won 5 in a row. In a series they lead 20-7. The last Saints win was way back in 1979. Falcons have won 9 of the last 10. Earlier this year, John, they blew out the Saints 35-0. We saw the graphic earlier on the dramatic outscoring the Falcons have done to the Saints. So for them to get off to a good start, they had to score first.
And Kenny Stabler told us there's a stigma here we have to remove if we're going to be a contending football team next year.
Stabler looking to the right side, almost, and it is picked off by the Falcons. It'll be 1st and 10 Atlanta at the 46-yard line. Blaine Gason, number 34, the free agent out of Hawaii, came up with the INT.
Bobby Butler, good coverage here, goes up, can't hold it, but here's where the tip drill comes in. Get to the ball, that's what they tell the defensive backs. Blaine Gason does exactly that, gets the interception.
Gason with his first interception of the year, the free agent out of Hawaii, and it'll be 1st and 10 for the Falcons.
If you're going to throw that kind, Kenny Stabler is disgusted. If you're going to throw that kind of pass, you better throw it up and away. And Jim, we'll be back in a moment with the New Orleans Saints leading 7-3 here from the Superdome in New Orleans.
Here's to good friends. Tonight
Hey,
it's time to
chicken and ribs?
the
Chicken and ribs. Check. Steak?
Must say
Check.
something more somehow.
Chili. Homemade chili. Good work.
Hey, wait a minute.
What did you bring besides your list? Just a little something I threw together.
I should have known.
When you want the taste of a truly great beer, tonight, let it be low and brown.
Okay, everybody, let's go win this one.
Now, Old Spice gives you two-fisted protection with original Old Spice deodorant and now new super dry antiperspirant. Both have that famous Old Spice scent. So what's the difference? Old Spice deodorant helps knock out odor. And now new Old Spice antiperspirant fights odor while it helps wipe out wetness. And they both work overtime. Old Spice, one name that gives you two-fisted protection.
This is a classic shot. Defender, wide receiver, see their eyes wide open looking for that ball. Now watch it as we roll it. Great position by Butler on the inside. Both men go up. The ball is tipped. And there we go. The interception by Blaine Gason.
Bum Phillips, very unhappy, has been chatting with Dick Jorgensen and his officiating crew. There was a penalty against the Saints after the interception, and Bum is very unhappy. Steve Bartkowski, 6 out of 7 in the passing department, 51 yards, as the Atlanta Falcons run the short end. You can see Bum about 3 or 4 yards out on the field. I think if he had that hat on, it would have been steamed off by now.
He's not happy. Neither are the fans, Jim.
Well, this is one of the great rivalries involving, of course, two teams that came into the league at approximately the same time. The two cities are only about 400 miles apart. Here's the option pass, and William Andrews tried to get rid of it, and it's sacked behind the line of scrimmage.
William Andrews trying to show that he can throw the ball also, a multi-dimensional back. Here the defense read it wasn't much of a fake by Andrews. He's looking, can't get it away. No luck.
That's Ricky Jackson, second-year linebacker out of Pittsburgh, the man that got over there and got William Andrews. Pressure also by Jim Wilkes, number 44, in his 6th year out of Arkansas. A loss of 2, so it'll bring up 2nd down and 12, and here's where home field comes into play. Wide receivers left and right, Riggs in the backfield along with Andrews. This time Bartkowski will throw it himself, and he's got his man, and he's got a Falcon first down all the way down at the 33-yard line of the New Orleans Saints. 1st and 10 Atlanta.
Alfred Jackson told me last week in practice that this is his favorite favorite pattern. He goes down about 16 yards, then comes back away from the defender, makes the catch for the first down. A perfect throw. Take a look at the pattern again. Here, he drives the defender off, and watch him come back. Comes back 2 or 3 yards towards the ball. He knows where the first down stripe is, makes the reception.
Man, he was beaten on the play. Johnny Poe out of Missouri, a 6th-round draft pick in '81. Wide receivers are left and right. Jenkins to the left side. William Andrews gets the call, and he bowls his way, keeps those knees churning all the way down to the 24-yard line. He got the last 3 yards simply on power.
Well, you talk about a man that finishes his run. We've talked about that before. Guys like Wilbert Montgomery, Walter Payton, Andre Franklin, those guys that just keep fighting for that extra yardage. William Andrews does that.
Andrews came in with 125 carries, 516 yards, averaging 4.1 yards per carry. And there's what he's done so far this afternoon, 5 touchdowns. Jenkins to the left side, Floyd Hodge out of Utah, number 83 to the right side. Andrews and Gerald Riggs. Riggs in the tail of the tandem out of the power I. Riggs gets the call. And Riggs takes it down to the 16-yard line. Bruce Clark, the rookie out of Penn State, and Frank Watlett in there in the tackle.
We talked about William Andrews running the ball, catching the ball. Watch him lead block here. He knocks Russell Gray on his back on the lead block. See the right of your screen, takes him right down, opens it up for Gerald Riggs to cut back inside for a good gain.
Inside of 6 minutes left to go in the first half. The Saints 7, the Falcons 3. Atlanta with New Orleans here in the Superdome. And of course, as far as the Falcons are concerned, with that St. Louis loss, they've got a chance to move into the top 4 and secure home field. Jenkins to the left, Hodge to the right. Intercepted by the Saints. They'll have it 1st and 10 at the 7-yard line. Dennis Dirt Winston out of Arkansas came up with the INT.
He may have come up. Winston may have come up with the interception, but it was Jim Kovac who was the man that hit Andrews out of the backfield to cause the ball to pop up in the air. Simple circle pattern. Watch that. Kovac knocks it up. Winston comes over to make the interception. New Orleans gets the ball back. We'll be back in a moment.
Did you know that there is an inexpensive, fuel-efficient car engineered in Germany that is so fast, so sure-footed, and possessing such remarkable brakes that you could very well look forward to seeing these signs as long as you own this one, the Volkswagen Rabbit. It expects the unexpected.
Was Gillette foamy, thick, and rich enough to restrain a rushing roller coaster?
No.
So we improved foamy. We made it even thicker and richer. So now is new improved foamy thick enough and rich enough?
No. But if you thought your foamy gave you clean, close shaves, just wait till you see how much thicker and richer new improved foamy is.
New improved foamy. We made it even thicker and richer.
January 15th on CBS Sports, Heisman runner-up John Elway, coached by his father, against Illinois' Tony Eason in the East-West Shrine Game here on CBS Sports.
In 2 weeks, it's the 58th annual East-West Shrine Game. 2 of college football's best quarterbacks are scheduled to compete in this classic. Stanford's John Elway and Illinois' Tony Eason. And, of course, you'll see a lot of passing in that football game. It'll include North Carolina's Kelvin Bryant, Stanford's Vincent White. So be here on Saturday, January the 15th at 3:45 Eastern Time, the East-West Shrine Game on CBS Sports. Jeff Groth out to the left side. Kenny Stabler hands it off inside, and they'll mark his forward progress at about the 1-yard line. So a loss of 3 on the play. It'll bring up 2nd down and 13 yards to go. A swarming Falcons defense led by Don Smith, 65. Jeff Merrow, 75, is in there, and Joe L. Williams, 58, the right outside linebacker.
Tough spot for Kenny Stabler. There's a final on Miami burying Baltimore. Baltimore goes winless.
Well, they get the first draft pick.
John Elway could be a franchise, but what do you do when you already have a top quarterback? Art Schlichter last year picked #1.
Stabler will fire for the first down. Got Lindsey Scott. He's got a first down and a flag on the play. There's a flag to be checked out. Falcons are claiming it's offensive pass interference.
Kenny Johnson, number 37, see him coming into your screen. He's pointing to Lindsey Scott, telling him, get your hands off me. You can't do that. And it is Lindsey Scott.
The rookie out of Georgia, number 80, Lindsey Scott, came into the game with 15 catches for 230 yards. Number 1 draft pick last year. The last 2 calls going against the Saints, the crowd reacting, and Bum Phillips not happy.
Interference, number 80, offense, still second down.
All those receivers. Watch it here. Lindsey Scott, Butler's, Johnson's playing bump and run. Scott puts his arm, pushes away on Johnson to make the catch. Good call by the referee.
John Dockery, former defensive back for the New York Jets.
Are you suggesting?
Likes any call that goes against defensive back. Stabler in trouble, but he's got a receiver up near the 20-yard line. 1st and 10 for the...
First down.
Beat Earl Jones, the third-year left side cornerback out of Norfolk State, 3rd-round pick. And there is Ken Stabler having some fun this afternoon. 3 wide receivers with George Rogers out of the lineup. They line up in a slot formation to the left side. And another penalty flag is thrown. Wayne Wilson looping out of the backfield. The ball was thrown slightly behind him, but the back judge has fired the penalty flag.
Defensive holding. One goes against Atlanta.
Moves the ball up to the 25.
Holding, number 36, defense, first down.
Let's check some scores around the NFL today. Rams have tied it up against the San Francisco 49ers. And, of course, that helps the New Orleans Saints. They're hoping that the Rams can upset the 49ers. Look what Detroit is doing to Green Bay. The Lions upset Green Bay in Green Bay earlier this year. They're playing at home today. The Raiders on top over San Diego. Home field for the Chargers if they can win. Slot formation to the right side. 4:03 left to go in the first half. Saints lead by 4. Screen pass to the left side. Wayne Wilson looks for a block, doesn't get it, and is chopped down at the 30. He'll be shy of first down yardage. Bob Glazebrook with a good tackle.
He tried to cut back. Tough thing to do. He might have done better by staying with that convoy. Kelvin Clark out in front. But he didn't. He cut back, didn't make too much. About 2nd and 5.
You don't think the Packers are having a letdown themselves after their big game in Atlanta, do you?
Looks like it. Well, they were sky high against Atlanta. Never gave Atlanta a chance. As you look at Wayne Wilson receptions.
Slot formation to the right side. Stabler, a little delay. Wayne Wilson, first down for the Saints. At the 41-yard line. Pridemore came up. Helped out on the play by Geisen.
This is good blocking by the offensive line. Also a nice call, a little draw here. Watch Kelvin Clark, number 78, gets through. Gets good blocking from number 63, Brad Edelman. He gets those extra yards on his own, though, Jim.
Of course, George Rogers is out, the outstanding running back for the New Orleans Saints. Bum Phillips he's had lots of problems with his running backs. He was happy at practice the other day just to see Wilson limping. Wouldn't know he was injured off of today's performance, however. 1st and 10 for the Saints at the 41. 2:44, 2:43. They go to a double slot formation. Stabler audibleized. Got his man, and another first down. Jeff Groth again inside Falcon territory all the way down to the 42 of Atlanta. Lane Geisen on the tackle.
They're trying to get in a man-and-man situation. That's exactly what it is. It's Groth on Earl Jones. Breaks outside. The ball is well thrown. Groth picks up a little extra on his own after the catch as Jones goes down.
An 18-yard pickup for Kenny Stabler, who's having a field day. 9 seconds to go before the 2-minute warning. Let's see if Stabler gets this play off. 5, 3. Now there's a flag on the play. Let's see if there was motion before the time expired for the 2-minute warning. Dick Jorgensen, the referee.
2-minute warning before the snap. It'll still be first down. 2-minute warning.
Break for the Saints. So when we come right back, the New Orleans Saints will have the football. They'll have it at the 42-yard line of the Atlanta Falcons. They've got a 4-point lead and 3 timeouts with which to work.
This place is real special.
We wouldn't trade one of our days up here for anything, except maybe for one of our nights.
Welcome to Miller Time. It's all yours, and it's all mine. Bring your thirsty self right here. You've got the time, we've got the beer for what you have in mind. Welcome to Miller Time.
The best beer for the best time of the day. Miller High Life.
Bring your thirsty self right here. You've got the time, we've got the beer for what you have in mind. Oh, welcome. You know you're welcome. Welcome. Everybody's welcome. Welcome to Miller Time. Yours and mine.
Jim Kelly, John Dockery, welcome back to the Superdome here in New Orleans. We'll join Brent Musburger and Irv Cross with all the scores and highlights around the NFL today, as Brent and Irv will help to put that playoff picture into perspective. It's constantly changing, of course, with almost every score update because of all the various tie-breaking situations, and a great halftime feature on a couple of players who are retiring at the end of this year.
Yes, it's hard to say goodbye as you look at the time of possession. Of course, Roger Worley, 14 years with the Cards. Mel Gray, 12 years, a great receiver. Ahmad Rashad also leaving some of the players that were saying goodbye to the NFL after great careers. We'll have that at halftime with Brent.
What a shame to see Ahmad Rashad have to bow out with an injury after the great career he's had with the Vikings and Minnesota in the playoffs. Is there any chance at all that Ahmad could be back if the Vikings get very far?
I think the prospects are slim. I believe his injury is fairly serious.
You saw the stats on Kenny Stabler, 152 yards, and he's been picking apart the Falcons secondary, and he's got another first down, or very, very close to it. Kenny Duckett, the rookie out of Wake Forest. Bobby Butler is the man who finally wrestled him out of bounds. From the end zone, you take another look.
Duckett, here's a question of a defensive back struggling so hard to recover that he doesn't find the ball, and Duckett comes up with it. Watch Butler struggling to recover, doesn't see the ball, does the reception. And it's second and only inches now, Jim.
Just shy of first down yardage. You know, unless you're a New Orleans Saints fan, you're not familiar with names like Kenny Duckett, like Jeff Crow, like Lindsey Scott, and perhaps Andre Thompson. But Ken Stabler, the veteran, has kind of brought a unification to these receivers, working out extra on his own with them at practice. Wayne Wilson, he's got the touchdown. And he will be stacked up, I believe, shy of first down yardage. Time left in the first half. Al Richardson on the hit. Third year out of Georgia Tech, and Mike Perko, the rookie out of Utah State. Boy, you talk about Georgia, you talk about Georgia Tech. Most of the state of Georgia was here for the Sugar Bowl last night, of course, with the Falcons, and Atlanta's only 400 miles away. This city's covered with a lot of red, isn't it?
It sure is, and this is a rivalry. As you see the markings on the field still from the Sugar Bowl, the 49th annual Sugar Bowl, Penn State and Georgia. Of course, Penn State winning a claim on the national championship last night. We were there, Jim. What a night.
Be just shy of first down yardage. 7-3, the Saints on top over the Falcons. 1:47 left to go in the first half. And the veteran, Kenny Stabler, at the controls. Who's the best quarterback you've ever seen at working the 2-minute clock?
You know, I've working the 2-minute clock. I have to say that certainly a guy like Roger Staubach was one of the best. Of course, he works with us now at CBS. Kenny Stabler's a good one also. He has that quick release, that dart thrower type of release that's hard to defend against.
You played with Namath as far as the New York Jets?
He was tough. But Roger Staubach has to be the number one, I think. There goes the ball. It's a fumble.
Loose football, and the Falcons have apparently recovered. Pile up at the 32-yard line. Now let's see if the play was dead or if the Falcons indeed have the football. First down for Atlanta. Costly mistake for the New Orleans Saints, and it gets Atlanta a big break just before halftime. And a fellow who's pretty good at working that 2-minute clock himself, Steve Bartkowski, comes in with the good arm and a couple of good wide receivers in Alfred Jackson and Alfred Jenkins, and William Andrews looping out of the backfield. 1:39 to go in the first half. Atlanta on the short end by just 4.
The German engineers who built the Volkswagen Scirocco were obsessed with aerodynamics and passionate about precision. They also look forward to a pleasant Sunday drive.
Ausgezeichnet. Hm? Ausgezeichnet.
Compare dandruff shampoos. There's good, there's better, and then there's Blue. Selsun Blue, the best dandruff shampoo money can buy. Clinical testing among leading brands proved it works best with more complete dandruff control. Selsun Blue is the only leading brand with the anti-dandruff ingredient doctors recommend most. Remember, there's good, there's better, and there's Blue. Selsun Blue. It simply works the best.
Next Saturday and Sunday on CBS Sports, postseason action as they battle for the NFC crown and a spot in the Super Bowl. Great regional action next weekend on CBS Sports.
John, not sure Wilson ever had the ball on the handoff from Ken Stabler.
It looks like a high handoff. Normally a running back wants that handoff around the belly button. Here it's a little bit high, and that's hard to do when you consider that Wilson is 6'3", but it was a bad handoff too high by Stabler.
Ball squirting out in the middle of the pile, picked off by the Falcons. 1st and 10 for Atlanta. They trail by 4. Billy White Shoes Johnson, Floyd Hodge in there now. Bartkowski with Gerald Briggs and William Andrews in the backfield. Nickel defense for the New Orleans Saints. Bartkowski misfired, intending it for Gerald Riggs up near the 38. He turned outside. The ball was thrown inside.
Exactly right. Of course, Gerald Riggs, a rookie. One of the hardest things for any rookie in the NFL is to learn how to run pass patterns out of the backfield of complicated offensive systems. At times, Riggs turned the wrong way. Bartkowski threw outside.
Don't forget, coming up at halftime, Brent and Irv will have all the scores around the NFL today and put the playoff picture into perspective. In our halftime feature, it's hard to say goodbye to fellows like Mel Gray, Ahmad Rashad, and others. 2nd down, 10 yards to go at the 33-yard line. Falcons on the short end, 7-3. Bartkowski fires over the middle to Gerald Riggs, sandwiched down at the 37, way shy of first down yard. And you can see the intensity right there. The Saints defense, Jim Kobach, 4-year linebacker out of Kentucky.
Exactly right. That time Bartkowski and Riggs got together.
Falcons utilized one of their timeouts. They've got 1:25 left to go, still on the short end by 4. Bartkowski to go over and talk over things with Coach Lehman Bennett.
Welcome to Miller Time. It's all yours and it's all mine. Bring your thirsty self right here. You've got the time, we've got the beer for what you have in mind. Welcome to Miller Time, yours and mine.
The best beer for the best time of the day. Miller High Life.
I refinished this beautiful piece all by myself, and I can't even change a light bulb.
A pro wanted $300 to refinish this. I did it myself for $15.
Formby's furniture refinisher can make a believer out of you because it works unlike anything you've ever seen. It dissolves old varnish lacquer shellac without stripping, sanding, or scraping. With my furniture refinisher, it's a pleasure to create a treasure.
Homer Formby. No one knows wood as good.
Many stores now have special values on my furniture refinisher.
Timeouts remaining for the Falcons. They've got the football. It's 3rd down and 6 yards to go. They'd like to keep the drive alive, obviously. Slot formation to the left side. Jenkins wide to the left. Hodge is in the slot. Jackson to the bottom of your screen. Bartkowski will need 6. Andrews the lone setback. The ball misfired by Bartkowski. Alfred Jackson running a deep fly pattern. Bartkowski throwing it as if he was doing a curl to the outside.
Total confusion on the offensive team by the Falcons there. The New Orleans Saints had 4 down linemen to get the rush. They had their extra linebacker in there, Whitney Paul. They played good coverage in the secondary. They got a decent rush, but Bartkowski was just confused.
Credit also the secondary of the New Orleans Saints. They've done a pretty good job of shutting down Jenkins, Jackson, and company. George Roberts will punt it away. Back deep is Jeff Groth, number 86. And Ken Stabler and company will have about 1 minute and 10 seconds to go, and they've got 3 timeouts they can use. Good. Line drive kick. Maudie fields cleanly to the 15. Looks to go to the sideline. Fights his way across the 20, up near the 28-yard line. And here comes Ken Stabler and company. A 53-yard punt by George Rogers, and a fine return, setting up the Saints in good field position.
I love to watch a master like Stabler work in this situation. I don't think he'll be content to sit on a 7-3 lead. He has those 13 years of experience. I love to watch him work the clock. He's got his full 3 timeouts left, 1:08 left in the half.
Lindsey Scott, the rookie out of Georgia, down to the bottom of your screen. Up to the top side, Kenny Duckett. Wide open and then dropped at the 31. Wayne Wilson out of the backfield. Lindsey Scott went down and cleared the zone. And that time Wilson, I believe, simply heard some footsteps coming.
Al Richardson's footsteps, number 56.
That's the intimidation factor the Falcons defense plays, though. They make you pay for the ball whether you catch it or not. You know you're going to get banged and banged pretty good.
Never was a case more true than the Falcons. The sum is far greater than the individual parts as you look at San Francisco leading the LA Rams 14-7.
Second down and 10 from the 28. Stabler in and out of the hands again of Wayne Wilson. You saw 49ers were on top over the Rams by a score of 14-7. What's going on at the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan, another of the Dome stadiums? The Packers coming back against the Detroit Lions. Of course, Atlanta's playoff possibilities. Only New Orleans playoff possibilities hinging on that game a large. We'll talk about that in just a second. It is third down and 10 yards to go. They dump it off to Wayne Wilson. And Wilson with a good move to the outside picks up the first down.
Good call, excellent move by Wilson. He faked inside, then got outside. Of course, we're talking about time. With 50 seconds left, he saves a timeout.
I'll tell you who threw the big block, the man we've been talking about, Brad Edelman, number 63, the rookie out of Missouri. But Wilson, with a nifty little stutter step, first went to the inside, threw him the hip, and then took it away. There's the Edelman. Now watch the block he throws out here, and watch the move that Wilson puts on.
Edelman puts a good shot on Al Richardson, and then a good move by Wilson. Doesn't get out of bounds, but they use a timeout to stop the clock.
We were talking about the New Orleans Saints playoff possibilities. Let's pick up on that. The Saints must win this game against Atlanta before any other variables come into play. If the Saints can beat the Atlanta Falcons, then they qualify for the playoffs only if the Detroit Lions and the San Francisco 49ers both lose.
It does get complicated. You sure you don't have a computer in the booth here? Bum Phillips doesn't really care about that. He told us the reason he wants to win this game is to keep his team on the track, get them believing in themselves, get rid of this whole idea that they can't beat the Atlanta Falcons, and continue to build that foundation we talked about at the top of the show.
Well, you talk about a foundation. Bum Phillips has been here for 2 years. He was named the coach in 1981 and then the general manager February of '82. His 8th year as the head coach, Bum Phillips, of course. He took Houston into the playoffs 3 of the 6 years that he was there, including 2 times into the AFC Championship game, which he lost out to the eventual Super Bowl winner. But he's got the New Orleans Saints on the right track here. First and 10, Ken Stabler. Sideline left, simply threw that away. Saw excellent coverage that time by the Atlanta Falcons defensive back, Earl Jones, number 20, over there in pursuit.
Really didn't have anyone open, just threw it away. As you said, stops the clock, 46 seconds left.
You know, another interesting thing that Bum was telling us over at the Saints practice complex the other day, he's not so sure that qualifying for the playoffs with a banged-up, injured football team is the best way to go for these youngsters. He said he doesn't want to get the stigma that was attached to Tampa Bay earlier on, where they get into the playoffs and then got blown out in the first round. If he qualifies for the playoffs, he wants to go in there with his strength, and he doesn't have that right now because George Rogers is not healthy. Stabler fired that one out of bounds in the face of a good pass rush. In fact, Stabler goes down and said, wait a minute, what's going on here?
Look at him talking to Smith, Donnie Smith, the 4th-year man out of Miami, saying, take it easy on me. Don't you know I'm 37 years old? Oh, throwing the ball away, yes.
And a penalty flag, roughing the passer, will be called against Atlanta. So that'll give the New Orleans Saints a key first down. It would have been 3rd and 10 on the incompletion, and it moves the ball all the way down to the 45-yard line of Atlanta.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, 65, defense, first down.
Crucial penalty right there because there are 41 seconds left to go, and the Saints have 2 timeouts.
The man we talked about, the nose guard, Don Smith, number 65. Tough and nasty.
Stabler sacked 7 times in the 35-0 Atlanta pasting up at Fulton County Stadium. First and 10 for the New Orleans Saints. Lindsey Scott to the left side. Rich Maudie to the top of your screen. In the slot, Andre Thompson. A good move by the veteran, Kenny Stabler. You saw him start to scramble, and he quickly calls timeout.
Well, you know Kenny Stabler does not want to scramble with that aging body and all the injuries that he has. Wisely, he comes up, finds the receiver, good for 17 yards and a first down.
With the helmet off, Kenny reminds you a little bit of Willie Nelson, doesn't he?
Give him a microphone. Let's hear a few bars.
Pickup of 17 yards. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Saints. They're on a drive. They've got it inside the 30-yard line of Atlanta, and they've got a 4-point lead.
He's William Andrews of the Atlanta Falcons, a United Way volunteer for the Epilepsy Foundation here in Atlanta.
How many people in the United States have epilepsy?
There are over 2 million people in the United States alone that have epilepsy. There's 100,000 new cases every year. I'm blessed. My child is healthy and normal. Maybe that's why I felt that I had to help kids like Trey Clark and all the young people who suffer from epilepsy.
We can all make it with love and understanding if you'll just give us a chance.
I wanted to know more and I wanted to help, so I've worked with these kids. Now, through the work of the Epilepsy Foundation, which is supported in part by your contributions to the United Way, we're reaching new levels of understanding and hope. Thanks to you, it worked for all of us, the United Way, right? Right!
The preceding message was brought to you by the National Football League. 32 ticks left to go on the clock for this man, who suddenly is rejuvenated since coming to the New Orleans Saints and feels that there are lots of ticks left on his clock. He wants to come back. He's excited. And there's the book on Stabler so far this afternoon. Now, let me ask you this. He's been working primarily on the cornerbacks, not so much over the middle. We haven't seen him utilize the tight end very much. You think maybe he'll try to set something up?
One of the problems is that his starting tight end, Brenner, is out. Hardy is in there.
Wayne Wilson again. He turns the corner inside the 23 and out of bounds to wisely stop the clock.
Wayne Wilson, like so many of the backs in the NFL, you have to be able to catch it out of the backfield. Here he just comes out working on the linebacker. Stabler finds him, gets the completion. 2nd down and 5, gets out of bounds to stop the clock.
Wayne Wilson, in his 4th year, a free agent out of Shepherd, came in the receiving department with 14 catches. He's had 9 catches for 73 yards so far this afternoon. 2nd down, 5 yards to go from the 23. Penalty flag is down. Stabler's got an incompletion intended for Lindsey Scott, but a flag thrown down at about the 25-yard line. Holding against the New Orleans Saints.
Kenny Stabler, as we mentioned before, came into this game. He didn't play last week against Washington. He has a sore left forearm. And on that particular play, he didn't have any steam behind the ball. It was almost intercepted by Pridemore.
Holding, number 45, offense, still 2nd down.
You know, in talking to a good friend of yours, the defensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons, Jerry Glanville, last night, he said, we usually play pretty well defensively against Stabler, and we give him a hard time.
That's Jack Holmes on the penalty. You see him tackle the linebacker there. It's like Joel Williams coming in. Holmes on a holding penalty.
Slot to the left side. 2nd down and 15 yards to go. Now they shift. Incomplete, and a penalty flag against the Falcons at the 11-yard line. Bobby Butler called for the 2nd time pass interference.
Let's take a look at it again. Lindsey Scott running the quick out. Great speed out of Georgia, the rookie, #1 draft choice. Butler on the inside. They're both using their arms.
Looked like
There's a penalty flag.
Looked like he got his right arm up on Lindsey. Those two have been having some battle. They've each been called for pass interference.
And
interference, number 23, defense, 1st down.
And you're talking about 2 outstanding tackles, talents in the NFL. Bobby Butler, the #1 draft choice of the Falcons, and also Lindsey Scott, the #1 draft choice of New Orleans. 2 fine talents going at it this afternoon.
A couple of crucial penalties against the Falcons, though, John, on this drive. First, the roughing the passer, which kept it alive and gave New Orleans a big 1st down, and now obviously this one with 16 seconds left to go. Touchdown! Kenny Duckett.
Johnson, as a cornerback, you cannot allow a receiver to get inside you on the goal line. It's an easy throw for a receiver. Actually, the ball was behind him. Kenny Johnson expecting help inside, didn't get it. Touchdown, Kenny Duckett.
Is he a happy man? The rookie out of Wake Forest, his second touchdown catch of the year for the third-round draft pick. And Kenny Stabler has just fired his 6th touchdown of the year. Morton Anderson out of the hold of Guido Merkins. Saints go up on top by 11 over the Atlanta Falcons. Take another look at the touchdown again. Kenny Stabler, his 6th touchdown toss of the year.
And of course, he's a left-hander. He's looking that direction, fires. It's behind the receiver, but Johnson is too loose down near the goal line. The reception and a touchdown. Kenny Duckett.
72 yards in 7 plays. 2 costly penalties against the Falcons. The roughing the passer call against Jeff Van Oat, or excuse me, against Don Smith, the nose tackle. And then, of course, the other pass interference call, the second of the game, incidentally, against Bobby Butler.
You just saw Kenny Duckett along the sidelines, number 83. He has an extra problem to overcome as you look at our score, 14-3. New Orleans goes on top late here in the second quarter. Kenny Duckett is a diabetic, and he had a broken finger and a sore shoulder, has problems getting back into that rhythm of knowing how much insulin, how much of an injection does he have to, because every time his diet or his physical activity changes, he has to make an adjustment in his injection. So Kenny Duckett has had his problems getting back in the groove after some injuries. Right there, he got a touchdown.
And you know what Bum Phillips was telling us about at practice, that a late game like today causes all kinds of problems for Kenny because it throws his meal schedule off. Squib kick. Falcons cover at the 38, and they've got 11 seconds left on the clock. You see that they went 72 yards in 7 plays, 2 costly penalties against Atlanta. They used up just 56 seconds, and Stabler, a scoring strike of 11 yards to the rookie out of Wake Forest. Let's see what Bartkowski and company come up with now. They've got 2 timeouts remaining. And certainly with Jenkins and Jackson, and given the history of these 2 teams, the dramatic come from behind win a couple of times with a Hail Mary deflected pass, you'd expect them to go long. Jenkins and Hodge to the slot on the right side, and that's exactly what they'll do, and Bartkowski throws it about as far as he can. And it's complete and then batted free at the 18-yard line. In and out of the hands of Alfred Jenkins. He had it, and it was finally stripped free by one of the New Orleans Saints defenders. I believe it was number 20.
You have to be a little surprised, Jim, that Alfred Jenkins, all 5 feet 9 inches of him, can get up in this group of defensive backs and almost come down with the reception.
It was Stacy Bailey who was in there, but Russell Gary, the second-year defensive back out of Nebraska, made a crucial defensive play. How did 2 wide receivers get that open on 4 defensive backs? Especially when the defensive backs are about 20 yards deep, 4 across the field. That should never happen. 2 seconds left to go. 14-3. Saints on top over the Falcons. But we've got 30 minutes left to go, and this is a very intense rivalry. This one's far from over. Partially deflected. Incomplete at the 20-yard line. 6 defenders, 2 receivers. We're at halftime. And you can hear the crowd reacting after a 35-0 whitewash. The Saints with a slim chance of the playoffs. The Falcons battling for home field. We've got 30 minutes to go.
Oh. Thank you, Paine-Webber.
I like it. I love it. I'll take it. Thank you, Paine-Webber.
In this highly competitive financial world, Paine-Webber believes the quality of life just might depend on the quality of your investments.
When the biggest newspaper in Oklahoma bought 40 Volkswagen diesel pickups, we weren't surprised. It has a tough double-wall bed. It's the best mileage pickup in America. And no matter what the weather, these pickups crisscross Oklahoma, hauling up to half a ton of newspapers every day. So, if you ask the folks at the Daily Oklahoman about Volkswagen, they'll probably say what we've been telling you for 25 years. Volkswagen delivers.
Tastes like Hawaiian.
1983 on CBS Sports. It's gonna be a year to remember. The Daytona 500. World Cup skiing. The World Figure Skating Championships. The NCAA Basketball Championship. The Masters. The NBA Championship. The Belmont Stakes. The Pan Am Games. The U.S. Open Tennis Championships. 1983 on CBS Sports. It's gonna be a year to remember.
Welcome back to New York. Irv. On this day, Mark Mosley misses, and Ronaldo Nehemiah scores his first touchdown. The New England Patriots upset the Buffalo Bills. Tampa Bay goes to the playoffs in one spot, still up in the air. But let's get you up to date now with all the scores. The most dramatic game of the day so far unfolded down in Tampa. And hats off to Doug Williams. He came back from an injury and pulled it out for the Buccaneers. The Bears' defense dominated this game early. Here is Wilson snatching the ball before it hits the turf, and then he dashes on in for a Chicago score. Doug Williams and the Bucs did not quit.
Well, I think what had happened, we went in the dressing room and we knew that they only had 20 points and they really should have had more. And we wasn't playing the type of football that we was capable of playing.
Doug's most effective weapon is tight end Jimmy Giles, who can beat you deep, much like a wide receiver. All Doug has to do is get him isolated one-on-one. Then after that, they just turned it over to Bill Capice, and he won it in overtime.
And this one was just a short one. Doug ran one play to the middle and got me set up, and I just went there, kept my head down, and followed through, and then it was over with.
And here it is, the kick that put Tampa Bay back into the playoffs, a 43-yarder by Capice.
I feel great. We're the cardiac kids.
The cardiac kids, indeed. Let me give you a couple of AFC scores that, of course, had a bearing on home field advantage. The Jets were destroyed by Kansas City 37-13. Meanwhile, Kenny Anderson shut down Houston 35-27. And what it all means is that regardless of what happens now in the Los Angeles-San Diego game, the Jets must go into Cincinnati for the first round of the playoffs. Now the Giants and Philadelphia. The Giants still clinging to a thread of hope. 26-24, Danilo pulls it out with the field goal. As for Cleveland and Pittsburgh, well, Cleveland is drug on into the playoffs. 37-21, they were screaming and yelling. They are the first team with a sub-500 record ever to make the NFL playoff picture because New England downed Buffalo 30-19 was the count in that game. And Irv, I think you've got some highlights.
You would think it was summertime, wouldn't you, Brent? According to the crowd, that Joe Ferguson, Buffalo, goes up top and hits number 80, Jerry Butler, for a score. And the Bills seem to have things well in hand. Ron Meyer knew he had to get his offense going, and he called on Steve Grogan to go to the air to two of his big receivers. Number 88, Morris Bradshaw, catches this one for a touchdown. Then he comes back later and hits number 80, Don Hasselbeck, for a score. And the New England Patriots, who everybody thought would fall apart because there was dissension up there, wound up winning the ballgame.
I think Chuck Knox may go elsewhere next year.
It's possible.
Indeed. They wind up on the season 4-5. Seattle would be interested in Knox, and the Greek reminds me that Detroit once upon a time was very interested in him, too. Miami, meanwhile, shoots down Baltimore 34-7, so the Colts, under the commander Frank Kush, go winless this year. Washington shuts out St. Louis 28-0. Was the final in that game as the Redskins roll. Now we have some games that are still in progress, of course. You're enjoying this game. The Saints trying to get into the playoffs. Not if you're an Atlanta fan, however. 14-3. Meanwhile, in the third inning, it's 3-2. Seattle over Denver in that game. Detroit and Green Bay. This is a good football game. Lions lead it by 3, 17-14 right now. The Raiders and the Chargers 10-3, and the scenario there is if the Raiders win it, they will be the top seed in the AFC. If they lose it, that honor will go to the Miami Dolphins. And finally, the Rams and the San Francisco 49ers. It is 20-7 right now. The 49ers with the lead. And we can see Dana McLemore on this punt return get an alley on the left-hand side. Ronnie Lott is the bodyguard. He screens off the last would-be tackler, and McLemore steps on into the end zone.
But the Rams come back with Wendell Tyler, number 26, catching a pass from the 3-yard line, Brent. I tell you, you know, how often have you seen Joe Montana go to work to his wide receivers? Number 85, Wilson, is hit there on and goes in for a 19-yard touchdown reception. Montana again rolling to his right, going deep. Ronaldo Nehemiah, the speedster, right? 29-yard touchdown pass.
Surprised he scored. He did not have a hurdle to jump. The NFL Today will continue on CBS after these messages from your local stations.
Monday on CBS, a visiting UN team turns the MASH camp upside down.
My complaints are falling on deaf feet.
And Newhart zips onto the ski slopes where disaster lurks.
When you get to the bottom of the hill, how do you actually stop?
Then Suzanne Summers reports for duty overseas, singing and dancing with her special guest, Jonathan Winters, the Pointer Sisters, the exciting Susan Anton, Suzanne Summers, and 10,000 GIs following MASH and Newhart. Great moments Monday.
This is CBS.
Welcome back to the news desk in New York. And of course, some of the outstanding players of the last decade in the NFL are retiring today and after the NFL tournament. And a few of these boys of autumn are already feeling wistful as they prepare for the transition from football to a more humdrum way of life.
Playing his final season for the Big Red, number 85, Mel Gray.
Four-time All-Pro Mel Gray is retiring after 12 years, over 350 catches, and more than 6,600 yards. But as his Cardinal teammate, All-Pro cornerback Roger Worley will tell you, it's not the numbers, it's the people you'll miss the most.
Well, I think it's hard to explain to somebody that's not in football, just the feeling of the camaraderie of the players, you know, the friends that you make, had throughout the years are the things that I'll remember the most.
Worley will also remember this, his last great moment, because during last Wednesday's practice, a knee injury ended his career on a sad note. Another former Cardinal, Bobby Moore, is retiring as the brilliant Ahmad Rashad of the Vikings.
The positive things in football and professional football over the 10 years that I've learned is I've learned what it takes to be successful. What kind of hard work, what kind of dedication it takes to be a winner. And I can take these things that I have learned from professional football, incorporate them into my life, and I think I'm going to be a winner. And I feel very good about that. In thinking back of those years that I spent playing football, I can't think of any better way I could have spent my 20s. I mean, during my 20s, I had a ball.
Throughout his 20s and most of his 30s, Gene Upshaw and his teammate Art Shell led the left side of the powerful Raider line. But this great All-Pro pulling guard will most be remembered for pulling the plug on the '82 season. Since the strike, Denver's Craig Morton has played only 2 series and not completed a pass. Throughout his career, his best years seemed to end in disappointment.
I've had a lot of bad moments in sport. The hardest moment's probably been in the Super Bowls I've played in because I haven't performed very well in those games.
Morton survived 18 seasons in the NFL, some of them great, none of them easy.
Irv, of course, after the strike, part of the settlement was that players retiring got severance pay. How much is that now for Morton and Upshaw and those others?
Well, Upshaw is a 16-year veteran, gets $180,000 in payment next year as part of severance pay, and Craig Morton winds up with a $200,000 check. Makes it a little easier to say goodbye, I think.
Is that what the strike was all about, how much money we could get Gene Upshaw?
Well, you know, he was on injured reserve, but he still qualifies. It was a very key factor.
All right, thanks, Irv. Now let's send you back to the stadium and the game you're enjoying on CBS.
Back at the Superdome in New Orleans, the Saints, who've lost 9 of their last 10 to the Atlanta Falcons, lead Atlanta by 11. Hello again, everybody. I'm Jim Kelly, John Dockery. John, we are seeing apparently the same Atlanta Falcons team. We talked about the fickle Falcons that we saw against Green Bay.
Exactly, and we're not seeing this Falcon team that had the ability to do a job on San Francisco 2 weeks ago, and a team that shut out these same New Orleans Saints 3 weeks ago. Second half, they can come back, though. They have the weapons.
And Kenny Stabler told us he was going to have some fun. He expected to put the ball up 50 to 55 times. He's already thrown the ball 27 times. times, and I think the 3 wide receivers has confused Atlanta a little bit.
Exactly right. They're not using a tight end, and he's completed 19 for over 200 yards, so Kenny Stabler is red hot.
Well, we've got 30 minutes of football left to go. The Saints still struggling for a playoff possibility, and Atlanta battling for home field as far as they can go. The Saints and the Falcons, it's 14-3. New Orleans on top over Atlanta. We're at halftime. We'll be right back.
Time for a tune-up.
Tune-up?
Want to make sure we aren't burning up money by checking points, plugs, oil.
Insurance?
Insurance.
Insurance?
Allstate update. Auto insurance tune-up. Allstate can help you make sure you're getting your money's worth. Just drop off your policy at Sears or any Allstate office. We'll check it out. Coverage limits, price, deductibles. Then you decide.
You might drive out with a better value. Now that's a tune-up.
Put yourself in good hands. The Hilton's right across the street.
Let's meet back at the Hilton at 8.
Meet you at the Hilton at half. I'm over at the Hilton. Come over.
5 minutes to get to the Hilton.
I'm at the Hilton.
Let's walk over to the Hilton. I'll meet you later at the Hilton.
You know, the Hilton's got the best steak in town. See you at the Hilton.
And you can reach me at the Hilton. Just call me at the Hilton, and we'll get down to your business right away.
When American business hits the road, American business stops at Hilton. America's business address.
After the first pass interference call against Bobby Butler, the Saints scored first on a 1-yard plunge. Wayne Wilson takes it on through. Morton Anderson's point after was good, and it was 7-0 in favor of the New Orleans Saints. Then the Falcons got on the board. Nick Luckhurst bangs through a 40-yard field goal, and that cut the New Orleans advantage to a 7-3 score. The Atlanta deficit was 4. And then late in the second quarter, just before the end of the first half, Kenny Stabler, after the second pass interference call, goes to the right side. Here's the call on Bobby Butler working against Lindsey Scott. You see he got the left hand and then the right hand on Scott. Flag was thrown at the 11. So the Saints and Kenny Stabler went to work. Stabler 19 of 27, 206 yards in the first half, and this touchdown to the left side as he finds Kenny Duckett, the rookie out of Wake Forest, and that put the Saints ahead by a score of 14-3, and that's where we are right now at the half.
As you look at Kenny Stabler along the sidelines having a great afternoon, a fun afternoon. As we look at the halftime stats, you see the Saints, it's all total yards, 248 total yards to 110 for the Falcons. Rushing fairly even. It's the passing game that's a difference. Stabler's the difference. 206 yards to only 66 for Bartkowski and company. Time of possession about a 5-minute difference. Turnovers not that significant. So it's really Kenny Stabler first half throwing the ball. 3 wide receivers, no tight end.
Not too bad for a 37-year-old picked up off the scrap heap by Bum Phillips, who had confidence in Kenny Stabler. Bum even told us at practice the other day he's surprised, the rejuvenated Ken Stabler, the enthusiasm that he showed. He said Stabler's going to be here in the offseason, work out with weights and work out with the Saints' young receivers. Reggie Brown fields at the 7. Breaks it through across the 25. 1st and 10 for the Falcons on the short end by 11, and they'll start from their own 28-yard line.
Now, can the Falcons come back? You bet they can. Anybody who has a Steve Bartkowski at quarterback, you remember Steve Bartkowski, the Mad Bomber, the guy that would throw 31 touchdowns in 1980, 30 in 81. This man can put the ball up and bring a team back in a hurry. He's been a bit bridled with the ball control offense of late. Can't do that anymore.
Bartkowski came in 152 completions, 241 attempts, 1,743 yards. And 8 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. They keep it on the ground, though, across the 35-yard line. That's Lynn Kane, the 4-year running back out of USC. He opens up each offensive series, and then, of course, we will see number 42, Gerald Riggs, who the Falcon people think will be even better than Lynn Kane.
Look at Jackson battling with Junior Miller. They're going to do it all day long. Ricky Jackson, the second man out of Pittsburgh. You don't hear much about him because in college, it was all you green. Here, he says the team isn't winning, so you don't hear about me.
Jackson to the bottom of your screen, Jenkins to the top. Falcons set it down on 2nd and 3, Lynn Kane. Got that on his own, was chopped behind the line of scrimmage at about the 35 and knifed his way forward and got it back to the 36-yard line. Jim Kobach in on the hit, along with Jim Wilkes, a second-year right end from San Diego State.
You know, number 21, Lynn Kane, in 1980, had 915 yards rushing. You know, people tend to talk about William Andrews, Gerald Riggs, but Lynn Kane is a fine back in his own respect. And Lehman Bennett starts him because he has contributed, and he can contribute, even though Gerald Riggs is the halfback of the future for the Atlanta Falcons.
Jenkins to the left side. Jackson moves into the slot. That's Jackson in motion to the top of your screen. Bartkowski over the middle in the grasp of Junior Miller. He's got the first down at the 40-yard line, and a late flag is thrown from way across the way.
I thought that flag should have come about 3 minutes earlier. Rob Nairn, number 55, was all over Junior Miller, all over his back. We'll see what the referees call it.
Dick Jorgensen, the referee, will confer with Steve Bartkowski. Junior Miller picked up enough for the first down.
Interference, number 56, defense, decline, first down.
They called it on Dennis Winston, not Rob Nairn. Both of them were hanging all over Junior Miller, number 80, but they called it on Winston. You remember Winston at Pittsburgh.
Traded from the Steelers this year out of Arkansas, 6-year veteran, and brings some defensive maturity to a young New Orleans. Jenkins and Jackson wide left and right. I formation now. Bartkowski to throw on first down. Corner out, got it. First down for the Falcons down at the 40-yard line. Floyd Hodge out of Utah.
They were playing an elastic zone. They were so deep. Russell Gary, the safety, was so deep that he just had so much room. Floyd Hodge did. It was an easy throw on the outside. Plenty of room in front. Floyd Hodge makes the reception. First down.
And you saw the strength in the arm of Steve Bartkowski. 35 yards from the left side of the field over across to the right side, and he threw that ball on a rope. William Andrews chopped down the swarming Saints defense. Maybe got it back to the line of scrimmage. Second down and 10. Jim Kobach, fourth year out of Kentucky, on the hit. Shows you the patience and the confidence that Lehman Bennett has in his football team. Behind by 11, not panicking, putting together a sustained drive.
He has confidence. William Andrews only has 34 yards and 8 rushes. Last week, Green Bay shut him down with only 41 yards rushing, but he had 11 receptions for 77 yards. They can move the ball. They need a touchdown on this drive.
Jenkins and Jackson wide left and right. Draw play to William Andrews, who barrels his way up near the 35-yard line. This telecast presented by authority of the National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the New Orleans Saints and the National Football League is prohibited. You know, John, talking about that game against the Green Bay Packers, Falcons also their own worst enemy. 16 penalties for 153 yards. And really, 3 penalties here have led to 14 New Orleans Saints points. 2 pass interference calls against Bobby Butler and 1 roughing the passer call on Don Smith. 3rd and 6. Bartkowski got it. First down. At the 25, Alfred Jenkins, 7th year out of Morris Brown. And again, the strength of Steve Bartkowski. When he gets warmed up, he can be one of the hottest passers in the National Football League.
He sure can. He shows a strong arm here. Good play, almost by the defensive back. Jenkins goes down. They say there was contact, so he can't get back up and run with the ball.
Well, there was. You saw the left hand of Dave Wimmer, and that's a smart play because he knew he was sliding on by. If he doesn't make contact, Jenkins can get up and run. It's a touchdown.
Exactly right.
From the 25 of the New Orleans Saints, Stacey Bailey to the left side. The book on Bartkowski. Alfred Jackson to the right side. William Andrews tries to cut it back against the grain, fights his way near the 27. Dennis Dirt Winston, 228-pound linebacker out of Arkansas, made the tackle.
And you look at number 56 in white, and you know that this is a man also, William Andrews, walking back. He was voted the defensive MVP by the Saints team. Of course, we told you earlier about Stabler being the offensive MVP. And at Pittsburgh, you know, Winston had all those other linebackers, Lambert, Hearn, Ham to deal with. Here he's found a home, and he's playing well for the Saints.
Lynn Kane to the top of the screen as a flanker. Slot formation to the left side, Jackson and Jenkins. Bartkowski looks at 2nd down and 7. Over the middle, incomplete, and a penalty flag at the 12-yard line away from the ball. Russell Gary out of Nebraska had it in his grasp, but away from the ball. It'll be a holding call, I believe, against the New Orleans Saints.
Bartkowski didn't read the adjustment by the receiver. One or the other went the wrong way. He throws it right to Russell Gary. And like all good defensive backs, he has cement hands and doesn't hold on to it.
Holding, number 25, defense, First down.
Johnny Poe, in his second year out of Missouri, a 6th-round draft pick. He was the man trying to hold up Alfred Jenkins, who was running out of the slot.
And Poe is the man that had that rough week against Washington last week. Charlie Brown, 2 touchdowns, one a controversial play where he was knocked out of bounds.
Lynn Kane to the top of the screen once again. Slot formation, Jenkins and Jackson to the bottom. 1st and 10 for the Falcons. They trail by 11 from the 17 of New Orleans. Draw play, William Andrews bowls his way down to the 10-yard line. Just keeps those legs churning, and Dennis Winston finally grabbed him from behind.
It gives you an idea of the quickness and speed of William Andrews. He cut by Ricky Jackson. Take a look at this. He cuts to his right, gets the handoff from Bartkowski, and makes a cut that a great back can make right here. And you see the linebacker 57 Jackson go running by him, and that's a good tackler he ran by. Gets the extra yardage on his own.
Just outside the 10-yard line, 9:25 left to go in the 3rd quarter. 1st and 10 for the Falcons. They can get a first down. William Andrews, Ricky Jackson.
Ricky Jackson said, "You got away from me on the last play. I'm going to get you this time." William Andrews trying to do some dancing. The pursuit of the Saints brought him down.
Ricky Jackson is going to be a great linebacker. What effect would a Dennis Winston coming over from the Steelers? Here's Bum Phillips, who played against the Steelers in those AFC championship games, goes out, and when Winston became available, gets a quality linebacker like that to help with his young linebacking core.
It can only have a stabilizing effect on a young defensive team like the Saints.
Flood formation to the right side. Junior Miller in motion to the bottom of your screen. Almost intercepted, intended for the tight end Junior Miller at the 6-yard line. Bill Hurley out of Syracuse, another free agent, and that's the second one the Saints almost came up with. And a penalty flag, and this one apparently against Atlanta.
Holding number 66. Offense decline. 4th down.
Someone ought to get some stickum. As you see, the penalty was on Warren Bryant, 6th-year man out of Kentucky for the Falcons. Bill Hurley drops another one. Gary dropped one right before that. I know stickum's outlawed in the NFL, but these guys certainly need it.
I'm not sure Lester Hayes has heard that yet.
Boy, Biletnikoff did the same kind of thing. He used to have it all over himself. You'd cover him, and you'd be sticking together with all the stickum coming off his uniform.
Certainly well within Nick Luckhurst's range. They'll put it down at the 19. This will be a 29-yard field goal attempt for Mick. His 40-yard field goal, the only points the Falcons have. And he's added one from 29. So the Saints will maintain their lead. The deficit for the Falcons cut down to 8 points. We've got 8:23 left to go in the 3rd quarter. The Saints, who've lost 9 of 10 to the Falcons, looking to rebound here at the Superdome.
Audi, BMW, Mercedes, the old world's finest sports sedans. Now, the American alternative. The new front-wheel drive Dodge 600 ES. 50 automotive engineers compared it to a Mercedes 300D. They preferred Dodge 38-12 for overall driving superiority. With great mileage and a 5-year or 50,000-mile protection plan, Dodge 600 ES is the affordable American alternative.
America's driving machine.
When a businessman is waking up in, say, Los Angeles, his main office in New York is already well into its day. And very often there's information the main office would like men such as this to have the moment they come in. Well, now, through a modern computer innovation called telemail, they can send them that information and have them punch it right up the minute they arrive.
Gee.
No, GTE.
There you see the Atlanta scoring drive. They've got 2 field goals in this football game, one in the first half, one in the second half. Mick Luckhurst will kick off. 89, Andre Thompson. 84, Rich Maude for the New Orleans Saints are back deep. Andre Thompson will take it 5 yards deep. And down it there, it'll be a touchback, and the Saints will start 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. The veteran Kenny Stabler brings them out. You look at Mick Luckhurst. That's a pretty good kick from the 35, 5 yards deep.
Sure, a lot of leg. You know, you look for ebb and flow in a game, momentum. That time, Bartkowski and the Atlanta Falcons drove the field looking for a touchdown, but they only came up with 3 points, so they trail 14-6. Now, it's important that Atlanta defense shut down Stabler and company and get the ball back so Bartkowski can go to work again.
37 years old, and there's the afternoon he's had. Kenny Stabler, Lindsey Scott, Kenny Duckett, wide receivers for the Falcons, slot, or for the Saints, slot formation to the right side. Screen pass to Wayne Wilson. Up near the 27. Jim Laughlin in there on the tackle, third-year linebacker out of Ohio State. And Brad Edelman, the man who was leading the blocking out there for Wayne Wilson. He's the rookie out of Missouri, who Jerry Glanville of the Atlanta Falcons defensive coaching staff says is the best left guard to ever play pro football.
I think it has to do with the job that he did on Randy White from Dallas a few weeks ago. White didn't get near the quarterback, was totally neutralized, so much so they started fighting at the end of the game. That's number 63, Brad Edelman, the left guard. You see him in your picture next to the center.
Inside handoff. First down for the New Orleans Saints. Hokie Guyjon.
Watch it. Excuse me. Watch the left guard. You get him on the right hand. See him pushing back. He's got tremendous arm strength. He pushes Mike Perko back. Opens up for Hokie Guyjon. A good hold.
Lewis Aubrey out of Oklahoma, 6'4", 262, a 5th-round draft pick. The man who was opening up the hole for Guyjon. Running backs now, Jack Holmes, 45, and Wayne Wilson, 30 for Ken Stabler. 1st and 10 for the Saints at their own 40. That's Jeff Groth out of Bowling Green, shy of first down yardage in the grasp of Tom Pridemore.
Here's a guy that Jeff Groth, number 86, is a guy that Stabler calls a fast Fred Biletnikoff. Watch him here, the bottom of your screen, fighting off, makes a good catch because Johnson's coming into pretty good lick on him, fights it off and gets some extra yardage. Jeff Groth, number 86, much like a Howard Twilley or a Jimmy Cephalo type from Miami, as you look at Bum Phillips along the sidelines.
Came into the game, 26 catches, 320 yards, and 1 touchdown. Stabler sets the Saints down. He needs 2. Jack Holmes barrels over the midfield stripe and will get the first down into Falcon territory. There are the stats on Ken Stabler, but how about the play calling? The veteran, Kenny Stabler, mixing up the short passes, the medium passes, and the running of Wilson, Guyjon, Jack Holmes. Haven't really seen, with the exception of 1 or 2 long passes, Stabler air it out.
You get the feeling that Stabler has a game plan that he feels comfortable with throwing the ball. If he had George Rogers, it would be a different Saints offense.
I think Kenny Stabler likes this game plan even without George Rogers. He'd much rather have Rogers in there, but he likes to throw it. And talking about it, airing it out, Lindsey Scott, it's intercepted by the Falcons at the 11-yard line. Bobby Butler, victimized twice on the pass interference call, comes up with the interception.
Poetic justice. As you look at a little scuffle along the sidelines, Lindsey Scott is there with a whole bunch of Falcons.
That wasn't a little scuffle. He threw the punch.
Bobby Butler keeping the ball. Watch this. Bobby Butler, as you mentioned, a couple of penalties. Lindsey Scott, obviously the game plan. Send Scott long on Butler. This time Butler, great position inside, goes up, makes the interception. And the Saints lead 14-6 here at the Superdome. We'll be back.
No second shots, Wallace! No second shots!
I'm used to him yelling,
Wallace, you gotta keep him out of there!
but not at me.
Box him out! Box him out!
The best never comes easy. That's why there's nothing else like it. Budweiser Light.
Bring out your best. Bring out your best. Budweiser Light. Bring out your best. Budweiser Light.
best.
Nice game.
You found it in yourself, and now you've found it in the beer you drink.
The top 8 teams in the NFC, the top in the AFC. We'll tee it up in the Super Bowl tournament. It all starts next week. In the NFC, the Redskins, the Cowboys, the Packers, the Falcons, the Cardinals, the Vikings, and Tampa Bay are in. And, of course, still battling the Saints and the Lions. Over in the AFC, the Raiders, Bengals, Dolphins, Jets, Chargers, Steelers, Cleveland, and New England are in. Lynn Kane sweeping right. Picks up 5, brings up 2nd down and 5 for the Falcons. They trail by 8 with 5:15 left to go in the 3rd quarter.
You know, Jim, it's interesting. 7 teams fighting for 2 playoff spots going into today's game in the NFC. I can't remember a season where so many games, the final games, where it meant so much to so many teams. It's really a credit to the NFL and the scheduling after a tough strike and a lot of disruption in the season.
Steve Bartkowski. 2nd down and 5. First down for the Falcons. Alfred Jackson got free over on the left side out of Texas.
This is a nice throw by Bartkowski over the up man Jackson. Good fake so he doesn't suffer the bump and gets thrown off his pattern. Bartkowski just lays it in front of the deep defender, and that's Earl Jones, knocks him out of bounds.
A pickup of 29 yards. The stats on Alfred Jackson so far this afternoon. In his 5th year, a 7th round draft pick out of back in 1978. Floyd Hodge is in. Jenkins is in from the 44 now of the Falcons. Junior Miller, the big tight end, rambles for another Falcon first down and pulls his way all the way down to the 33 of the Saints.
Boy, that reminds you of the Bartkowski of old. A good play-action fake right here to Lynn Kane, and then airs it out. A frozen rope. Junior Miller wide open, makes the catch, takes it upfield for some extra yards. That's the Bartkowski we remember from years ago. Watch it again. He chooses the right receiver inside. He's open. Obviously, number 20, Rusty.
Placed his way for a pickup of 2. That'll bring up 2nd down and 8 yards to go. Jim Wilkes out of San Diego State in there in the hit. The 49ers putting away the Los Angeles Rams. Perhaps the last game as far as Ray Malavasi and most of his coaching staff concerned in Los Angeles. And that game, of course, affects New Orleans because the Saints can only get into the playoffs if they beat Atlanta and if Detroit and San Francisco both lose. Look what the Raiders are doing at Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego.
It's a little surprised when you hold the San Diego Chargers to look at this. Is that a baseball score?
5th inning. Hodge and Jenkins, the wide receivers. Krefley remains the tight end. Down goes Bartkowski in the grasp of Whitney Paul. Seventh year out of Colorado, who came over to the New Orleans Saints in a trade with the Kansas City Chiefs this year. So you can see the rebuilding job that Bum Phillips is doing. This man, Whitney Paul, came over from Kansas City. Winston came over from the Pittsburgh Steelers.
He comes from the backside. Bartkowski never sees him. You know, Bum Phillips talked about him being the best cover linebacker possibly in the NFL, but you saw him blitz there. It's a 2nd sack. First on Bartkowski, -9 yards.
Hodge and Jenkins, the wide receivers. Slot formation to the left side. Saints show a blitz. 3rd and 18. And Bartkowski pulled up short and apparently heard a whistle. Delay of game against Atlanta. Two years ago, those fans that you were looking at in the stands were wearing bags on their heads. They called their team the Aints.
Delay, offense, still 3rd down.
But Bum Phillips, since he came in here, rebuilding around George Rogers, picking up players like Dennis Winston and Whitney Paul with a good draft over on the left side. Edelman rebuilding. 38 of the 49 players on the New Orleans Saints roster weren't here 2 years ago when those fans were wearing bags on their head. You saw the update on that other score. William Andrews will not pick up the first down. And I believe they're way out of Mick Luckhurst's field goal range. Picks up 9, so it'll bring up 4th and 14. A 28-yard field goal by Eddie Murray at Detroit at the Silverdome. 7:58 left to go in the third quarter. So the Lions lead the Green Bay Packers 20-14. Remember now, as far as the Saints are concerned, their first priority to beat Atlanta. If that happens, they can still qualify for the playoffs only if Detroit and San Francisco both lose. Right now the Lions are winning by 6, and the 49ers are up big over the Los Angeles Rams.
On the other side of that coin, of course, the home field advantage. The Falcons already in the playoffs. They beat the Saints today. They will have that home field advantage because St. Louis lost to the Redskins earlier.
28-0. Redskins on top as they solidify best record in the NFC. They go to 8-1, and they'll have home field as far as they can go. The Cowboys are 6-2, and Dallas will play up at the Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome in Minneapolis tomorrow night. Falcons, confused on the specialty teams, will take another delay of game penalty and back them up 5 yards further for George Roberts, who has punted twice today for a 47.5-yard average.
You know, sometimes a team will take an extra 5 yards to give him a little more room to punt, maybe kick out of bounds, or maybe get it inside the 20.
Time left in the third quarter. The Redskins are 8-1. Cowboys are 6-2 going into tomorrow night's game against the Vikings. Green Bay 5-2 right now. They're losing by a field goal. Atlanta 5-3 coming in.
Delay. Offense. Still 4th down.
Cardinals are 5-4 now after losing at Washington. The Vikings are 4-4. Tampa Bay by beating the Bears in an overtime field goal. 33 yards by Bill Capice ups their record to 5-4. So one playoff spot left to go. George Roberts bangs it for the near sideline. Last time he put it out of bounds at the 5, and this time it'll be killed or not. The volleyball drill goes into the end zone. It'll be a touchback, and the Saints get a break.
Almost a great play by number 89, Willie Curran. He almost bats it back, the rookie from UCLA, but he doesn't. So it's New Orleans leading Atlanta 14-6. Time running out in the third quarter. We'll be back at the Superdome in a moment.
End of shift, the new day's dawning. Partner's late, but the coffee's warming. Here's the way you share your morning. Maxwell House and you get that
Joe, I'm sorry to come late on
the
this.
last drop feeling. With Maxwell House, only Maxwell House gives you good to the last drop feeling. Maxwell House.
Why do 100,000-mile flyers choose United?
Many of the answers are here on United's remarkable new 767. Over 100 computers help monitor systems, from air conditioning to weather over the route ahead. There's more overhead storage. Twin aisles and roomier coach seats make it more comfortable. As a director of United, I think the 767 is good business. As a business flyer, you'll think so too.
People who fly for a living fly United's friendly skies.
Wednesday, it's Susan St. James' anniversary, but which one is the lucky guy?
I think I want Red Butler.
I Take These Men, a world premiere Wednesday.
There was a sign on the message board here at the Silverdome a couple of seconds ago that said, "The New Orleans Saints salutes Pro Bowler George Rogers." No telling how good with Kenny Stabler on this team from training camp on, with a healthy George Rogers, a rebuilding defense. No telling how good this team will be next year when they get some momentum. Stabler not going into his shell, finds Wayne Wilson again out of the backfield and picks up 8 yards. 2nd down and 2. Jim Laughlin and Al Richardson in there on the tackle, and not going away from their game plan at all with 1:25 left to go in the third quarter.
You know, you talk about Wayne Wilson, number 30, free agent here with New Orleans. Guess who he was originally drafted by? You guessed it, it's Bum Phillips. Back in 1979 when he was with Houston, he was a 12th round draft choice. Somehow Bum has a way of recycling players that he likes.
Wilson with 11 receptions for 89 yards. This time we'll keep it on the ground. Free agent Adam Shepard in his 4th year, 6'3", 208. bulls his way for a first down. Clydemore on the tackle for the Atlanta Falcons.
You know, Jim, when we were talking to Bum the other day, we were talking about Wes Chandler and Bum's philosophy, and he said he would get rid of a player who didn't fit in with the family feeling that he wants on the Saints. And that kind of, he picks up people like Wayne Wilson, like a Stabler. He starts to build by getting a Leon Gray to back up, a Kelvin Clark. He brings the team together, and that's how Bum Phillips wins.
And he believes very strongly in the team unity. The Saints will have a lot of team functions with the players' wives. They'll have barbecues. They'll have little guitar picking sessions, a little hootenanny. Wayne Wilson over the middle. Good block by Stan Brock, third-year right tackle out of Colorado. First-round draft pick back in 1980.
Remember, he talked about training camp where he brought in 8 or 9 country western singers to have a little beer, have a little jam session, to relax the Saints and bring them together. I think that's part of winning.
Time expiring in the third quarter. Falcons have had a field goal in the first half, a field goal in the second half. New Orleans with 2 first-half touchdowns. 15 minutes left to go in regulation. The Saints, who've lost 9 out of 10 to the Falcons, on the rebound here at the Silverdome.
Raise your hand. You got it. Raise your hand. You know it. You feel confident, secure. Raise your hand. You feel dry now. Raise your hand. You know why now. Raise your hand if you're sure.
You've got it. That sure, secure, confident feeling. Because each Sure gives you enough protection to help feel dry all day.
Confident, confident, dry and secure. Raise your hand if you're sure.
It's so easy to catch someone's eye, and so easy to lose it. It's so easy to get their attention, and so easy to lose it.
Why let the itch of dandruff be what they notice when it's so easy to control with Head & Shoulders? Head & Shoulders leaves your hair soft, shiny, captivatingly clean. Lose that itch and keep their attention with Head & Shoulders.
It's so easy.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Toyota, who reminds you that it's a good feeling to buckle up for safety. And by Gillette Atra Razor, the twin blade razor that pivots for a close, comfortable shave.
Jim Kelly, John Dockery back with you. I, of course, said Silverdome as we went away. I meant Superdome. You got the Superdome, the Silverdome, the Astrodome, the Metrodome, and the Kingdome in Seattle, right?
As the NFL goes indoors.
Second down and 5 for the Saints. They lead it by 8. Wayne Wilson, power sweep to the left side. Close to first down yardage. They needed to get it down to about the 43-yard line. Glazebrook came up and made the hit. Falcons with just 81 yards rushing. The Saints with 69. After 3 quarters of play. But look at this difference in passing. For the Falcons, 146 yards. For New Orleans, 230.
Kenny Stabler on fire, having an afternoon that he talked about having. And that with an injury. Not able to throw that long. Not practicing all week long, although we did see him on Friday, and he did throw the ball well.
You see number 14, Russell Ertzleben there. He's had a relatively quiet afternoon as far as punting goes. 3rd and less than a yard for the Saints. Russell Ertzleben, also the New Orleans Saints player representative. Saints a team that stayed unified during the players' strike also. Maudie in motion. Stabler. Despite the fact they had problems with a handoff, Wayne Wilson goes up and over and picks up the first down for New Orleans.
Wayne Wilson looked like he was catapulted out of a cannon there. Watch his lead block.
Look at Stabler's reaction.
Strong surge by the offensive line. Good lead block by Gaijan. And then it's all Wilson over the top.
You saw Stabler fight to keep that ball in his control, otherwise a fumble. They already lost 1 on a missed snap earlier. 1st and 10 for the Saints. They lead by 8. 14-18 left to go. Close to first down yardage into Falcon territory. Kenny Duckett, he's got the touchdown reception. The rookie out of Wake Forest.
Kenny Duckett this time faked long. Johnson, of course, not great speed. Burned a couple of times by Lofton last week. Worrying about the deep pattern. Duckett pulls it up, comes back to the ball. The result? a completion.
And you mentioned Lofton. If you're wondering how things are going in that Lions-Packers game, it is still 20-14. Detroit on top. New Orleans, their first order of business, of course, to beat the Atlanta Falcons if the Saints are to have a slim chance of qualifying for the playoff. They need a Detroit and San Francisco loss in order to get in, but first they've got to beat the Falcons.
Picks up that first down. Kenny Stabler, 23 of 32, 241 yards, 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown. Nice throw to Kenny Duckett at the end of the first half for that touchdown, 11 yards. Let's take a look at some updated score.
In the third quarter, San Francisco on top over the Los Angeles Rams by 13 points. San Diego behind by 10 to the Raiders. A battle of field goals between Denver and Seattle. And late word in from Detroit now. Green Bay has just gotten another field goal. They trail by 3, 20-17. Receiver went inside. Stabler threw the ball outside. That field goal by Stenerud from 47 yards. So the Packers have climbed to within 3.
You knew Kenny Stabler wanted something else because he pump faked. He obviously wanted the receiver to go out and up. The receiver did not do that. He just threw it away.
Kenny Stabler out of Alabama. Played for Bear Bryant. Slot formation to the right side. Stabler looks at 2nd and 10. The delay to Wilson. Inside the 40. Joel Williams in there on the tackle. Don't forget, following this game, it all starts with 60 Minutes. A great night, a great lineup here on CBS. 60 Minutes followed by Archie Bunker's plays. Gloria, the new hit with Sally Struthers, the Jeffersons, One Day at a Time, and Trapper John M.D. It's all tonight right here on CBS. Line of scrimmage, the 39-yard line of the Falcons. Kenny Stabler calling, I think, John, a masterful game. Mixing up the short passing and the running. Saints 3 out of 6 on third down conversions. Need 5 right here, and Stabler just throws this one out of bounds. Saw Bobby Butler over there. Don Smith with a lot of pressure on Stabler. And Kenny just unloaded, so we were talking about Russell Ertzleben, and apparently the Saints will punt it away. 13:20 left to go.
There's our man, Billy White Shoes Johnson. Yeah, there he is. Remember White Shoes? Took a little vacation in Canada, came back this year, has surprised people. Look at that, one of the tops in the NFC in punt returns with an 11.4-yard average. And they were pleasantly surprised with White Shoes Johnson. They weren't sure he could play anymore, but he's filled in as a wide receiver, done well as a punt return man.
We mentioned Ertzleben had a pretty easy afternoon. They've got the fake punt. Touchdown! Touchdown! Bill Hurley. And look at the Saints players from the far bench.
Does that tell you something about unity, about good feelings on a team? And look at the crowd here. You'd think it was a Super Bowl. What, they're pulling out all the stops. Ertzleben throws the ball. This is Bill Hurley. Remember the great career he had at Syracuse as a quarterback? That's Jim Laughlin. He misses the tackle, and then Hurley shows some good speed cutting back, takes it all the way in for the touchdown.
Big block you saw there thrown by 84 Rich Maudie. Saints late getting one of the specialty teams out. That's number 57 checking in Ricky Jackson. Out of the hold of Guido Merkins, Morton Anderson will try for the point after. They go 80 yards in 10 plays, 39 yards from Russell Ertzleben to Bill Hurley. Guido Merkins may have his backup quarterback job taken away. Russell Ertzleben is 1 for 1. 39-yard touchdown. The point after by Morton Anderson is good. And the New Orleans Saints go up top, 21-6 over the Falcons. You take another look at Russell Ertzleben firing 39 yards to Bill Hurley.
Hurley drafted by Pittsburgh as a defensive back, didn't play much. He's delighted to be here in New Orleans. gets his first touchdown.
Come on along, I'll take you to the lullaby of Broadway. The hickory and ballyhoo.
The lullaby of Broadway.
And in the center of it all
is the Milford Plaza.
Stay at the Milford Plaza Hotel with cocktail dinner and breakfast for $39 per person. Discover why we are the lullaby of Broadway.
The Milford Plaza is the lullaby of all Broadway.
You can protect everything but your ego. Because they know how it hurts. And they'll go for it again.
Bring out your best.
Budweiser Light.
Bring out your best.
Budweiser Light.
The best never comes easy. That's why there's nothing else like it.
Budweiser Light.
47,336 on their feet here at the Superdome in New Orleans. Enjoying this one. The Saints lead it by 15. 8 yards deep, and he's coming out. Reggie Brown hammered down at the 15-yard line, maybe the 16 with forward progress. Ed Simonini, former Baltimore Colt, a 26-yard kickoff return. And this Superdome was just electrified after that Saints score. We'll return to the Superdome here in New Orleans with the Saints on top over the Falcons 21-6 after this word from your local station.
Tuesday on CBS is Walt Disney's New Day. Tim Conway stars in The World's Greatest Athlete. African magic mixes with cottage sports for the world's greatest fun. Walt Disney Tuesday.
This is CBS.
The Superdome is electrified. You don't think that this is a great rivalry? The New Orleans Saints, the Atlanta Falcons, two great southern cities entered the National Football League at just about the same time. The Falcons up 1 year, down another. In the playoffs 1 year, down another. Saints struggling for a long time. Rebuilt under Bum Phillips and alive here today on top over the Falcons 21-6, trying to rebound from a 35-0 embarrassment at Fulton County Stadium earlier this year. Bartkowski will try to bring the Falcons back, and he's capable of doing it, down by 15 with almost 13 minutes left to go. Over the middle, William Andrews slithers forward, shy of first down yardage. Green Bay has scored at Detroit, a recovered fumble. Del Rogers, 24-20, the Packers on top. The 49ers are winning against the Los Angeles Rams, but the Rams are coming back. They trail by just 6. The Saints, if they beat the Falcons, can qualify for the playoffs if the Detroit Lions lose and if the San Francisco 49ers lose. So right now, the New Orleans fans rooting for a Los Angeles Rams touchdown. We've got a 15-point New Orleans Saint lead.
Toyota's been the #1 selling import truck for 5 years. The 1983 Toyota Standard Bed aims to make it 6. With the biggest Standard engine in its class, a 1,400-pound payload, a better warranty than ever. And this, last year's sticker price, just $59.98. How does that feel?
Like somebody did it right.
Oh, 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 what a feeling. Toyota.
How can a guy 5'9" have an unfair advantage over these guys? I use the Gillette Atra razor. They don't. It's got the advantage of a pivoting head. Atra is better than twin-blade razors that don't pivot. See? They don't always stay in my beard, but my Atra pivots to keep both blades on my beard longer. So I get a better shave. Close. Comfortable.
Get the Gillette Atra and get the Atra advantage.
Sometimes a little advantage goes a long way.
William Andrews, going off under his own power, was down for a long time, and while we were away, John said what a drastic loss that would be for the Falcons in the playoffs. We talked with Lehman Bennett. We said, at what point in the game tomorrow, when we talked to him yesterday at the hotel, would you pull a Steve Bartkowski or William Andrews?
and he said only late in the game if we were way ahead or way behind. Remember, the Falcons are in the playoffs. We are forgetting that. They also need some momentum. They haven't had it today. They're not playing that well.
Bo Robinson blocking for Gerald Riggs, chopped down at the 25-yard line, and the crowd comes alive once again.
You talk about momentum. Atlanta isn't playing a great football game. They're not playing with the emotion that Lehman Bennett hoped they would play with. But on the other side of that coin, the Saints are fired up. You saw Ricky Jackson come across. Look at the Raiders and the San Diego Chargers coming back 20-20. Ricky Jackson came across to make that tackle from the other side of the field.
Raiders are 7-1 going in. The Chargers are 6-2 going in. Remember that great game they had? The Chargers had a 24-point lead, and the Raiders came back to beat them. Bartkowski needs a first down. 11:45 left to go in this football game. Gerald Riggs will not get the first down. Sandwiched by the left defensive front of that line for the New Orleans Saints. Ricky Jackson leading the charge.
And we talked about this Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde Atlanta team. I mean, for 3 weeks before last week's terrible loss, 38-7 to Green Bay, they were on fire. They beat San Francisco 17-7. They shut out these New Orleans Saints 35-0. They beat Denver 34-27. So you wonder what Atlanta's going to do in the playoffs.
Low snap, bullet-like kick. Jeff Groth will field cleanly at his 23. Fights his way back near the 35-yard line, and the Saints with a 15-point lead will start 1st and 10 from that point. 11:14 left to go in this football game. New Orleans 21, Atlanta 6.
Some things speak for themselves.
From Radio Shack's world of the TRS-80 comes the Model 3 business computer. Let it increase your manager's productivity, so when you need that report...
Tomorrow by 9.
You'll get it. Because the TRS-80 provides instant information access, simplifies planning and projections, prepares error-free documents. It is the professional, affordable management tool. The TRS-80 Model 3 from 1849, only from Radio Shack, the computer experts.
Next Saturday and Sunday on CBS Sports, postseason action as they battle for the NFC crown and a spot in the Super Bowl. Great regional action next weekend on CBS Sports.
No bags on their head now. They haven't had bags for the 2 years that Bum Phillips has been building respectability here in New Orleans. The Falcons had won 5 in a row and 9 of the last 10. In fact, the last New Orleans Saints win was way back in 1979. This series, Atlanta leads 20-7. Wide receivers, left and right, slot formation to the left side. Kenny Stabler with a 15-point lead will work on the clock. Jack Holmes bucks over the right side, across the 40, near the 42. Approaching first down yardage, a pickup of 7. It'll bring up 2nd down and 3. And one of the chants that went up was playoffs. When we were away, they posted that Green Bay score against Detroit, 24-20. So the fans very much aware of what it takes for the Saints to get into the playoffs.
Of course, that Detroit loss and the San Francisco loss, a win here, and they're in the playoffs. So it's not, they're not out yet. Watching that scoreboard.
From the 42, slot formation to the left side. Wayne Wilson slithers forward and appears to have a first down for the Saints. Good blocking on the left side. That's Brad Edelman, 63, the outstanding young rookie out of Missouri. John Hill, the 11-year veteran center out of Lehigh. First down for New Orleans.
Jim, we talk a lot about the playoffs, and well, we should. The New Orleans Saints not out of it yet. A lot of people interested, but even if they don't make the playoffs and they do beat Atlanta, that's one albatross gone. It's also a feeling that they can beat a playoff team, and they're looking to next year or the year after to be a true contender.
Duckett and Marty in the slot formation to the left side. Lindsey Scott to the top of your screen. Holmes bowls his way near the 50-yard line. Excuse me, Gaijan. You see Kenny Stabler looking up at the clock here at the Superdome, working on it, the veteran, 9:44 and counting.
Sometimes you forget just how good Kenny Stabler was. 5 championships between 73 and 77 with the Oakland Raiders. That Super Bowl win, Oakland 32 over the Vikes, who only had 14 in Super Bowl 9. And he's having a great afternoon. 240 yards, great completion percentage.
Bum Phillips didn't forget how good he was.
Yes.
Pitch back to Wayne Wilson. Atlanta's defense swarming, chops him down shy of the 50-yard line, and it'll bring up a 3rd down situation.
You know, Jim, you talk about Bum Phillips and Kenny Stabler, and you know, sometimes when you don't have something, like an NFL career, when you see it coming to an end, we saw the feature at halftime. All those guys leaving, it's tough to leave. But sometimes when you do, and Bum Phillips talked about this, Kenny Stabler, when no one picked him up when he was cut by Houston, all of a sudden realized he was out in the cold, and he actually did like football. He still had something left. Bum Phillips gave him a chance, and he's responded for the Saints.
Bum Phillips in his 8th year in the National Football League as a head coach, 6 years with the Oilers, 3 times in the playoffs, and 2 AFC championship games. Stabler needs 6. Looks for the tight end. Got him. First down, Saints. Larry Hardy inside the 20-yard line. Coughed up the football, but not before the play was whistled dead. And watch the blocking of Hokie Gajan.
And watch the flick of the wrist, and a great adjustment, throws it away from the defender. Hardy, the 2nd-string tight end, Brenner's hurt, makes a good reception, picks up some extra yards running the ball.
Hardy ran right away from Glazebrook, a little mismatch there in the tonnage department. Bob is 200 pounds, and Hardy is 240 pounds. Slot formation to the right side. Stabler has the Saints on the drive again. 7:50 left to go in this football game. Wayne Wilson sandwiched down before he got back to the line of scrimmage. Al Richardson having a great game for the Falcons.
And you have to wonder about the Falcons as Kenny checks the clock. 7:35 left in this game. Seems to be under control for the Saints, winning 21-6. But the Atlanta Falcons have a problem. They're in the playoffs next week. What are they going to be? Are they going to be the team that won 3 in a row, that was so hot, that shut down a San Francisco, that had a Joe Montana wondering, and has Lehman Bennett wondering, which kind of a team are they? A good playoff team or just an average team that may fold up any weekend?
At the top of your screen, Maudie and Duckett in a slot formation. Wayne Wilson against the grain, cuts it back inside the 20. Joe L. Williams on the tackle.
You know, there's some interesting possibilities. We talk about the home field advantage, Jim, for Atlanta. Now, if Atlanta loses today and Minnesota loses, then Atlanta will be at home versus St. Louis. If Atlanta loses today and Minnesota wins tomorrow night against Dallas, I believe that game is at the Metrodome. They fixed the hole in the roof. Atlanta goes to Minnesota.
Maudie to the top of the screen, wide right. Kenny Duckett, Lindsey Scott in a slot. Sweep to Wayne Wilson. Touchdown, New Orleans. Look at the reaction of the Saints. Most of them out there congratulating Wayne Wilson, but a few of the defensive players recognizing the value of Kenny Stabler out there to congratulate Kenny for his play calling. There he is. He looks a little bit like Willie Nelson.
And this is just good blocking and running by Wayne Wilson, the 4th-year man out of Little Shepherd College. Makes a good cut, turns on some speed. You sure that isn't George Rogers in another uniform? I mean, I know he doesn't have 38 on, but boy, what a nice run by Wayne Wilson for his touchdown.
Second touchdown for Wilson of the afternoon. Morton Anderson is perfect, and the Saints come marching home again. 6:20 to go in this football game. Another look from behind the New Orleans Saints offense as Wayne Wilson gets a big block there from number 78, Kelvin Clark, and then sweeps to the right side and punches it on in. The Saints 28, the Falcons 6. Saints hoping for a Green Bay win and a Los Angeles rebound.
A cold weather warning from America's most trusted antifreeze. Your car is an expensive investment. Improper maintenance during freezing sub-zero weather can cause serious damage. Be sure to check your antifreeze now. If it's weak, you're taking a real chance. Put in Prestone 2. The Prestone patented formula locks out winter freeze-ups. Get Prestone now. Save $2 by mail and relax. No wonder we're #1.
Reunity, it tastes so fine. Reunity, pure and natural wine. Reunity on ice. Reunity, so nice. Reunity. Reunity, it tastes so light. Reunity, so refreshing and right. Reunity on ice. Reunity, so nice. Reunity, reunity.
Jim Kelly, John Dockery back at the Superdome here in New Orleans. The Saints on top. Wayne Wilson, he's having some kind of a career this afternoon. That's what he's done on the ground. And in the air, 11 receptions for 89 yards. He scored 2 touchdowns. Number 30, Wayne Wilson. Reggie Brown, 7, now 8 yards deep. And the Superdome is on fire. They are just electrified here this afternoon. It's been a long time, going way back to 1979, since the Saints have beaten the Falcons. There's the scoring drive, capped off by Wilson's 17-yard scamper around the right side.
Kenny Stabler, a masterful game, calling most of his plays. Unlike most, as you will see, a new quarterback, Bartkowski. They're going to save him for the playoffs. Obviously, Lehman Bennett feels the game is out of hand, so it's Mike Morawski, the 4th-year man out of Cal Davis.
And a rookie in there at the other wide receiver spot, Stacey Bailey, number 82. Morawski comes in, 8 completions in 10 attempts for 61 yards, 1 touchdown, no interception. He's been sacked twice. He'll go to work right away, trailing by a bunch. Got it. That's Stacey Bailey, the rookie out of San Jose, coughs it up, and the Saints have got the football. Dennis Winston. Like they say on the playgrounds, Dennis, in your face.
His nickname at Pittsburgh, you might remember, number 56, his nickname was Dirt. Some people called him a dirty player. Here, Stacey Bailey makes the move to the outside. A nice catch on his fingertips. Takes off with the ball, but here he coughs it up. And Winston comes up with the recovery for the Saints. They have a good opportunity again. We'll be back.
This bud's for everyone who's ready for the action when the whistle blows.
Yeah, just for you, that distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
This bud's for you.
Okay, cross-X right onto left. In a ball game, I don't care how much I sweat. The more I sweat, the meaner I feel. Oh. But off the field, I want to feel nice and dry. And I want to smell nice. That's why I use Speed Stick Super Dry Antiperspirant. Speed Stick's the wide stick. Gives me effective protection in just a few strokes. Helps fight wetness and odor all day.
Get the wide stick for protection. Speed Stick Super Dry Antiperspirant by Menon.
January 15th on CBS Sports, Heisman runner-up John Elway, coached by his father, against Illinois' Tony Eason in the East-West Shrine Game here on CBS Sports.
In just 2 weeks, the 58th annual East-West Shrine Game. 2 of college football's best quarterbacks are scheduled to compete in this classic. Stanford's John Elway, Illinois' Tony Eason. Also in the running back department, North Carolina's Kelvin Bryant and Stanford's Vincent White are scheduled to be here. So you be here too. Saturday, January the 15th at 3:45 Eastern Time, the East-West Shrine Game on CBS Sports.
You talk about John Elway, maybe the best to come out of college since the Burt Jones, the Joe Namath. It's amazing. Bartkowski told me he thought Elway threw just about every ball perfectly. What a franchise he is. John Elway.
Stabler to Wayne Wilson, who slithers forward near the 37-yard line, picks up 1, brings up 2nd down and 9. You know, back on September the 9th in '79, when the Saints were playing at Green Bay, they had 29 first downs. They have 29 here this afternoon against the Falcons, tying their record for most in a games thus far. If they pick up one more, they will break it.
It's been a good afternoon. Interesting when we talked to Bum Phillips, what do you need to be a real playoff contender? We talked about a tight end, maybe another running back to go with Rodgers, and maybe a defensive back. And this New Orleans Saints is they're on their way.
Wayne Wilson again to the 35-yard line. Falcons defense not backing down at all. Still hitting with the same intensity they began the game. You see Stabler glancing at the sideline, looking up at that clock again. Looks like he might be running out of gas a little bit.
I wonder why.
Inside of 5 when this next play is snapped. These are all finals around the NFL today. The Redskins securing home advantage as far as they go. Eagles are eliminated. Giants still have a slim hope of getting into the playoffs. The Bears are out. The Bucks are in. In the fourth quarter, San Francisco leading the Rams. The Rams must beat San Francisco for the Saints to have a chance. Guy John. First down for the New Orleans Saints at the 26-yard line. A new record as far as first downs are concerned. Tom Pridemore made the tackle secure.
And you hear the fans in the background, something to cheer about. 1980, they were 1-15. That's how they got George Rodgers. Last year, Bum Phillips got them to 4-12. Still not a great finish. This year, they're going to be 4-5. That's as many wins as they've had in the last few years. Jim 8-8 in 1979, 7-9 in 1978.
As many wins this year in a 9-game season as last year in a full season. First down for the Saints at the 26-yard line of the Atlanta Falcons. Guy John at the 20-yard line. Pridemore again on the hit. They're still hitting with a lot of intensity down there in that gridiron. The New Orleans fans are reacting. Green Bay on top over Detroit by 4, and that of course is one of the reasons the Saint fans are so electrified here. A Lions loss coupled with a San Francisco loss coupled with the New Orleans win here today against Atlanta puts the Saints into the playoffs. Guy John, 10 carries for 58 yards. Wayne Wilson, the workhorse, around the right side. First and goal, New Orleans. Pridemore wrestled him out of bounds.
What an afternoon Wayne Wilson is having. Look at the fans. They're delighted in this game. I mean, it's 28-6, Saints on top. Wayne Wilson having an afternoon. Not bad for a guy. As you look at the, look at this. New club record for the Saints.
That's the first down record we told you about before. 11 more yards added to Wayne Wilson's total. You know, if the Saints get another touchdown, it'll make the score 35-6. They lost 35-0 at Fulton County Stadium. I guess you'd call it a tie this year, wouldn't you?
Call it revenge. And it's the old axiom, tough to beat a team twice in the same year. I'm surprised. I thought Atlanta would play better today after their big loss to Green Bay last week.
Inside handoff. Pokey Guyjon Bulls for 5 more. A 10th round draft pick back in '81. Jim Laughlin in there in the tackle, a 3rd round linebacker out of Ohio State.
Jim, we talked about this an awful lot before the game. I felt that Atlanta would rebound, have a good afternoon. You said to me that if Kenny Stabler was in the game at the end of this game, that the Saints would win. He's still in there. You were right.
Kelvin Clark, 78, throwing a big block over on the left side, along with John Hill, the 11-year center out of Lehigh. Kenny Stabler sets them down on 2nd down. Blitz is coming. Wayne Wilson inside the 5, fights to about the 3.5. Fulton Kuykendall in there on the hit defensively, number 54, 8 years out of UCLA. A couple of other scores to update you on. A 1-yard touchdown run by Chuck Muncie as we approach the 2-minute warning, and the Chargers, after trailing the Raiders 20-10, have come back to take a 27-20 lead at Jack Murphy Stadium out in San Diego. And Denver has gotten a field goal. They trail, or now they lead Seattle by a score of 9-6. We're at the 2-minute warning at the Superdome. These Saints fans are enjoying every moment of it. The New Orleans Saints have led the whole way. The Falcons have a field goal in the first half, a field goal in the second half. The Saints have 4 touchdowns and driving for number 5.
I'm a firefighter. You get greasy, grimy. I'm shampooing 2-3 times a day. And I'm kind of worried about that. I have to have a shampoo that's gentle. So I use my daughter's Johnson's baby shampoo. There's a big difference.
No other shampoo has Johnson's unique formula. It combines thorough cleaning with extra gentleness.
Johnson's gets my hair very clean in a very gentle way. It even makes my hair feel better. And Johnson's is gentle enough to use every day. The proof's right here.
Four-wheel drive isn't the only great thing about this Toyota. It's just the tip of the iceberg. Introducing the new four-wheel drive Toyota Tercel wagon. Inside, it's enormous. It switches from front wheel to four-wheel drive on command and gives you the best gas mileage of any four-wheel drive car. The Toyota Tercel, a new standard in four-wheel drive. But that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Tercel!
Jim Kelly, John Dockery back with you at the Superdome here in New Orleans. There's our score, our time remaining. It's 3rd down and 4 for the Saints. And New Orleans enjoying a 28-6 lead over the Falcons, who, John, have got to be concerned because they managed just 7 points against Green Bay a week ago, just 2 field goals here against New Orleans, and they're on the verge of going into the playoffs against either the Minnesota Vikings or the St. Louis Cardinals.
And that's a team, the Atlanta Falcons, have been averaging 23 points a game, so you'd have to say their offense is in a slump. So is their defense.
From the 4-yard line, Ken Stabler. They go with a double tight end alignment. Larry Hardy and Rich Maudie. That's in motion, number 46, Hokie Guyjon. Wayne Wilson, touchdown! You don't think he'll get a game ball, do you? Big hole on the right side. Stan Brock, 67. Kelvin Clark, 78, opened it up. 4 yards. They went 38 yards in 8 plays. You look at ground level.
He might get 3 game balls for his 3 touchdowns. He must be hanging around George Rogers. And what an afternoon for this young man. Not bad for a man who made this team as a special teams player in 1979. What an afternoon. Watch the blocking up front. Power blocking. Guyjon with a good block. Wayne Wilson takes it in. Puts the Saints on top 34-6.
Guido Merkins, number 19, will spot it down at the 10. Morton Anderson has been perfect. He's got number 5. Guido Merkins might have lost his backup quarterback role, though, to Russell Ertzleben. Ertzleben earlier threw one 39 yards to Bill Hurley. There's your score. So right now, the Saints are just hoping that the Rams can come back against the San Francisco 49ers. And, of course, hoping that the Packers hang on against the Detroit Lions. The top 8 teams in the AFC, the top 8 teams in the NFC in the playoffs, the Super Bowl tournament, it all starts next week. Check your local listings for our 2 games on Saturday, our 2 games on Sunday, right here on CBS Sports. 1 playoff spot is all that remains.
And the Saints come marching in, and they certainly marched in today to the Superdome.
Now, it was funny, in talking with Bum Phillips of the Saints, that first game between Atlanta and New Orleans, it was windy at Fulton County Stadium in Atlanta. It was about 30 degrees. And he was asked if the weather affected his team when they lost 35-0. He said the only elements that affected us were the 11 elements that were wearing the red Atlanta Falcon jerseys.
Kyle Richardson down on the ground, helping him up, 3rd-year man out of Georgia Tech. Again, what the Falcons are worried about now that this game is out of hand is injuries to their key players. Richardson, a cog in their defensive scheme. You know, in fairness to them, Buddy Curry was out early with ligaments, will probably miss the playoffs. Richardson appears to be all right. The other fine linebacker, number 50, Curry has been gone for most of the games. He'll have an effect on the Atlanta Falcon defense as they go into the playoffs.
You know, it was very interesting in talking with defensive coordinator Jerry Glanville last night. When we said, what was your approach to this game? He said, well, we threatened to show him the films of the Green Bay Packers, but the players came to us and said, no, coach, you've made your point. We don't have to look at the film. And they said, well, okay, point to the guy that you felt cost us the football game, anticipating that maybe they might point, for instance, to a Kenny Johnson who was beaten twice by James Lofton. Each member of the Atlanta Falcons pointed to themselves, and that's what Coach Glanville wanted to see, the fact that they blamed only themselves. So he didn't make them sit through the film. They sure don't want to look at the films of this game.
But they're going to have to look at something. He's going to have to lose some motivation because this team is flat as they go into the playoffs. Let's take a look at the standings as we go. Get ready.
Based on today's scores, Washington 28-0 over St. Louis. Redskins securing home field as far as they can go. Cowboys up at the Metrodome in Minnesota tomorrow against the Vikings. Packers are leading Detroit right now by 4 points. Atlanta will drop down, if this score holds up, to 5-4. St. Louis is already 5-4. The Vikings are 4-4.
To the head, 99 defense.
Tampa Bay is in with that 5-4 record. They beat the Bears this afternoon. A 33-yard field goal by Bill Capice in overtime. The Bears are out. The Giants have a slim chance. And New Orleans, of course, will join the group at 4-5. And if the Packers score holds up, they've got to hope like crazy that the Rams come back and beat San Francisco. Then they're in the playoffs. 1st and 10. Morosky passing over in the right flat to Bo Robinson. Belted out of bounds near the 46-yard line.
And of course, Atlanta, when you look at their home field, they have to hope that Minnesota loses tomorrow night. That would put Atlanta at home versus St. Louis. If Minnesota wins tomorrow night, Atlanta goes to Minnesota to play. Of course, when you think about it, Jim, Atlanta is 3-0 on the road before today. They'll go to 3-1, so they're used to playing on the road and doing well on the road. At home, they were just 2-3. So who knows how much the home field advantage will mean to the Atlanta Falcons, if they should get it.
His arm was in motion. Ken Bordelin, 7-year linebacker out of LSU. Detroit has come back now against the Green Bay Packers. They are late in the 4th quarter. The Green Bay Packers trailing by a field goal. We'll try to check and see how much time is left to go in that game. A 1-yard run by Rob Rubik with 5:47 left to go. So the Packers trailing by a field goal still have a chance to come back. A sack at the 36-yard line by Reggie Lewis, the rookie out of San Diego State. 6'2", 248, Reggie Lewis.
Of course, Detroit is leading in that game with about 5 minutes left. And though it looks bad for the New Orleans Saints at the moment because Detroit is beating Green Bay and San Francisco is beating Los Angeles, still, you can't take anything away from this victory. They're building confidence. They're building a foundation for the future.
Up top, incomplete at the 28-yard line and almost intercepted by Bill Hurley out of Syracuse, the free agent who's got the touchdown toss from Russell Erxleben. Don't forget, following NFL action on CBS. It all starts with 60 Minutes, except on the West Coast. A great lineup tonight. The Jeffersons, Archie Bunkers plays, Gloria, Trapper John M.D. And one day at a time, that's right. George Roberts will punt it away. Jeff Groth, number 86, is back deep for the Saints. They've got 1:09 left to go. They will have won their first game in 6 outings. New Orleans had lost 5 in a row to the Atlanta Falcons, 9 of their last 10. Falcons lead this series 20-7. Low snap, and he gets it away and a pretty good kick. Maudie wisely calls for the fair catch. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line. Some of the men behind the scenes, NFL football on CBS. Our executive producer is Terry O'Neill. The senior producer, Charles H. Milton III. Today's game produced by Ed Gorin and directed by Bob Daly. Bill Brown, our associate director, and our broadcast associate, John Conner. And the rest of the folks who bring you the sights and sounds of NFL football on CBS. 1st and 10 for New Orleans. 35. Falcons 6. 1:03 to go. We talked about the fact that the that the Saints will go to 4-5 in a 9-game season. They only had 4 wins in a 16-game season last year. So you can see what Bum Phillips has done. He has brought unity. He's had a good draft. He's brought some youthful players, some enthusiasm, and he's brought Kenny Stabler, number 16, the veteran, who is not in there now. Here he is, Guido Merkins, and listen to the applause for Kenny Stabler.
Many folks have written the obituary for Kenny Stabler. He was hurt. He told Bum Phillips, I want to play today. And he did play, and what a game he's had. He wants to come back next year, maybe the year after. He hopes to be part of all of this when the New Orleans Saints finally become a playoff team.
24 of 35, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Not too bad at age 37. Rejuvenated Ken Stabler. As we talked with him with the Saints, we've touched on it several times throughout the telecast, but there's a gleam in his eye. This man wants to play football, and Bum Phillips even said he's surprised. He thinks that Ken Stabler might have found out that he now needs football. Before, football needed Kenny Stabler. It's been a dramatic turnaround.
What a nice afternoon for Kenny Stabler. 37 years old, 13-year veteran.
The Los Angeles Rams have taken a 1-point lead over the San Francisco 49ers. If that holds up, and if the Green Bay Packers can come back trailing by a field goal, these New Orleans Saints are suddenly right in the playoff picture. We will be going to that San Francisco 49er Los Angeles Ram game in just a second. Time has expired here at the Superdome in New Orleans. The Saints have avenged that 35-0 loss up at Fulton County Stadium with a 35-6 whitewashing of the Falcons here this afternoon. It has really been 2 men that has carried the Saints this afternoon. Kenny Stabler, we have told you about, and Wayne Wilson, 3 touchdowns, a remarkable performance.
And Atlanta, when you look at 2 straight losses, they're now 5-4. The New Orleans Saints 4-5. We're getting ready to go to a great game, Jim. What an afternoon for Kenny Stabler.
Keep in mind now, with Atlanta losing, if Minnesota wins tomorrow night, Atlanta, who had already clinched a playoff spot, they're 3rd, by the way, in 5 years, the Falcons would be on the road in Minnesota. After the Atlanta loss today, if Minnesota would lose tomorrow to the Cowboys, Atlanta would be at home against the St. Louis Cardinals. So right now, the Saints will be watching the scoreboard, hoping the Rams can hang on against the 49ers. They lead by 1, hoping the Packers can come back against Detroit. Now for John Dockery, Jim Kelly saying so long from the Superdome. The final score, the Saints 35, Falcons 6.